Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. That's right. We're, I think, officially, I guess, in the middle of the year, you could call it at this point, because we're in the middle of the middle month. Well, I suppose, yeah, because I guess probably the end of this month would be more the middle. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you is. Welcome to Midnight's Edge. We got Andre here. How you doing, Andre?
I'm doing excellent. It's been another week. The Acolyte is here. The Backlash is here, and it is glorious. So it's been a good week.
It's been an interesting one, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. News-wise, yeah, I can't say that it hasn't been a little interesting, and I think it's going to get more interesting as the week plays out next week, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. We do expect some other panelists to show up here at some point. That's kind of why we're a little bit late. We were hoping we get one or two people before we started, but that's okay. We do know WDW, if I can talk today, WDW Pro should be showing up later, so that's one person for sure who will be here, and you never know who else might pop in. But yeah, been some interesting Disney news the last few days. We got a Watchman trailer yesterday for a 2-part animated movie, miniseries, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's coming straight to streaming video on demand, but did you check that out or did you see that?
I did. And you know what? I was reminded by something I heard John Schnepp say years ago, which way back in the days when Collider actually was good. I think he said it in Collider Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
This was around the time when the Zack Snyder movie came out, that they actually had toyed with doing an animated Watchmen movie even then, but they didn't. You know why? Because they didn't, but they kind of like did like this animated like skeleton of it, like this previs, and it came out better than their $200 million live action movie, and that's the reason why they didn't do the animated feature. But now it's been so long, James Gunn is in charge, so why not? I'm actually excited for this. So yeah,
actually,
I hope that they will go all out.
I was gonna say this predates him, I believe, because this was something, and I didn't even know about it until I saw the trailer. Because I went and did some research, and I guess this has been something that's been in the works since right around the same time as the other Lindelof series.
Either way, I'm excited for it. Bring it. I'm all for doing these animated specials of like really big storylines. I wish more people would do it.
You want to know my theory?
Go for it.
Besides the obvious rights retention and all that bullshit,
I don't think that applies when it's.
I don't think so either, because I mean, other than the Paramount and some other things in there, because Paramount's got like 25% in worldwide distribution and all this other shit. Because I had to check into it last night, because I was like, I always wonder why Paramount was involved in this. I'm like, oh yeah. And as we said, there's a documentary to be made in the several versions of Watchmen that never made it to screen, from Terry Gilliam's version up through Snyder's version, because was it Darren Aronofsky or somebody like that was attached just before him. So like there's like 20 years worth of films that never made it that were going to come out, and that's how somehow Paramount got involved at some point, I guess. But either way, the other thing is, I think that I was thinking about that, how it was greenlit around the same time as the series. And do you remember this or not? Maybe it's just me. I thought I read somewhere at the time that series came out that it was never meant to be attached to the Zack Snyder movie.
Yes.
See, I wonder if this was meant to be their. I think this was meant to be their prequel. So hopefully it doesn't have a lot of the same problems that series had. Hopefully it's just a straight adaptation of the book. Because I think, isn't that part of the issue, is that show goes off the ending that's in the book and not the movie? Because for those who are not familiar with the two big variations between Zack Snyder's Watchmen and the book, surprisingly, are mainly just the ending. Otherwise, Zack had a lot of good shit to work with, so there's nothing really in the movie that's not in the book for the most part. Just the ending is different, and it's really subtly different, but it does change a dynamic of one of the main characters. So like, I don't want to spoil too much, but like, yeah, if is that probably a good way of explaining it, Andre, would you say?
Yeah, kind of. I think that about sums it up.
So yeah, I'm assuming that this mini series, or whatever you want to call it, animated 2-parter, will probably be just more directly from the comic, but we'll have to see.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
I would hope so. I hope it's a literal adaptation. That would be.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But it looks like it has taken quite a few visual cues from Zack Snyder.
Does it? I just figured because Zack Snyder took so many visual cues from the book, Because I mean, that's the thing is
that he did, but the slow motion in them, because they have to. Well, again, it's based on the same source material. So
that I can see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, well, and that's
Yeah.
just the problem. Is like, well, Zack Snyder doesn't own the patent on
Yeah.
slow mo no more than JJ
And
owns
exactly,
the
but
patent.
like for instance, like this scene of Doctor Manhattan being atomized in slow motion. When I read it, I always read that as I'm right now just catching something that happens in literally the blink of an eye, and they drew it out
Oh,
over
yeah.
seconds, and they're doing the same thing here. To me,
Yeah.
that's not being. You have the same image, but that you draw it out in slow motion that way. I mean, that's them directly or indirectly being influenced by Zack Snyder. Because
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
if they just want to do a straight up adaptation, but still use the actual image of the book, they could have done that without the slow mo, and they would have achieved the same, making a sound alone. Because I looked at so many stuff there, and just it's the slow mo that makes it seem like Zack Snyder.
Well, and yeah, it doesn't help that the scene is almost composed exactly like his. I mean, yeah, it's that I can see, but again, that goes to the whole chicken and egg thing, right? Is it because Zack did it that way, or is that just because it's in the book that way? And that's because I would imagine that. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I would imagine they're going to try to avoid any of the Zack Snyderisms in this update version of it too. But we'll have to see how that rolls out.
But the only ones really were the slow motion. Beyond that, it's actually really true adaptation.
Yeah, it does.
Source material in so many ways. So it's the music that's kind of like Zack Snyder-ish, and I liked the music there. So I think that
I guess I didn't even notice the music, so that's a plus. If I'm not noticing the music, because it's funny you mentioned that, because wasn't Watchmen one of the first ones of those movies to have the trailer have the slow mo version of an old classic song in it, if I remember right?
Yeah, it had the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yes, that's. I was gonna say. I don't think it was even in the movie. That's what I was trying to think of what it was.
Yeah, no, it had loads of amazing music, contemporary music, in the movie as well. So
it did. Well, the soundtrack's a wonky one because it has. I think it might even have that Smashing Pumpkins song on it, but it's not in the film. But then it doesn't have certain other songs that are. But then that's just typical. But yeah,
this is actually very common. I mean, like for instance, Rammstein's "Du hast" is on the soundtrack for The Matrix, but it's not in the movie or the
technically no. Yeah, but I use it for that for Mead Radio. I'd say, well, I guess it counts. It's on the soundtrack. That comes from that era though, where you had two things. You had like the soundtrack inspired by the movie, right? This is kind of going to go with what we had today, because remember when Superman Returns came out, they brought out a Superman album that just had a bunch of songs about Superman that aren't even in Superman Returns, but they made it look like a Superman Returns soundtrack.
It's so much cooler with the songs inspired by, where you have some guy at the label like, these are the songs that we own. What do I think of when I think Superman? Okay, here's the soundtrack inspired by. That's so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had like the REM song and some other stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, just, okay, I get it.
Make mixtapes for the studio. Yeah. Dream job right there.
But other times what you would have is where just stuff would get cut out, and then just that song just didn't wind up in the final cut, that's all. But
I should make some mixtapes for subscribers. That'd be pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
But speaking of mixtapes, they launched a music channel. I think that's what Pro's going to talk about here when he gets here. So that'll be interesting to check out all the original songs he does over there. But let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat here. We got Packing Protons, who sends in 10 and says, Chapek got fired with the stock going under 100 instantly. Disney Plus is a failure. Star Wars is destroyed. Yet Bob and Kathy survive a hostile takeover. Please, Mr. Peltz. It's funny because I brought that up before, but yesterday, did you see the stock fall below 100 for a bit there?
Yes, I did. And I think it's going to go down even further. So we obviously do not do any kind of financial advice here or anything like that. But, okay, I'm going to stop myself right there. I'm just going to say Nelson Peltz did amazing in leaving when he did, because he sold out everything he had in Disney when it was at 120. And by doing so, he was able to net his shareholders $2 billion in pure profit. If he had sold out now, he would have netted them a loss of a few millions. That is how good that timing was. And I wouldn't be surprised if Nelson Peltz comes back at a few points, but the share price is going to have to drop a hell of a lot before then. And really, what good news do Disney Plus have on the horizon? I mean, as WDW Pro has pointed out, soon Disney Plus is going to fall out of the top 5 streamers, if it hasn't already. Hulu is they're gonna tank Hulu as well, so that'll be gone.
Did you see the news this morning? I heard it last night, but it's been made pretty much official. Tubi took the top spot in streamers.
Fantastic. And this is the one that Disney didn't get, isn't it?
Tubi is the one. Yeah, Tubi is the little engine that that's the one that's all like, what do you call it? Where it has the ad supported, but I'm trying to remember the actual word. But so this is kind of a big deal because it beat out all the other ones, all the subscription-based ones. So yeah, just goes to show you people will go to free TV real quick. This is why I've griped about where's my free TV. You know, because I've said it used to be, I don't know how the law is written anymore, but it used to be we were supposed to have access to network antenna television. And in most places, it's almost impossible to get now that they went digital. They claimed it was going to be so much better, right? Well, no. If you don't, because if you don't get a strong signal, you ain't getting a signal. At least when I had the old fuzzy rabbit ears days, I could still watch Bozo. It'd be fuzzy, but I could still watch. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's just, this is redonkulous now because where I'm at, people say, "Oh, you should be able to get stations right." No, I don't. Doesn't help that the I'm around a bunch of bluffs around me and stuff like that too. But that being said, Disney is not looking good. They better hope Inside Out 2 does very well this weekend.
You think it's going to?
No, I think it's going to underperform.
I think so too. I think it's going to underperform.
And you know what's funny is Bad Boys has been overperforming all week. At least I haven't looked at yesterday's numbers yet, but it was already up to 130 as of I think Tuesday or Wednesday it was. So that means even during the week it was playing like a weekend almost.
Yeah.
So anybody going, "Oh, theaters are dead," it's like, no, you just put stuff out there people like and want to see, and they'll go see it. Hyperguyver sends in 5 and says, "Rip Clobby, yes indeed, you really were the best. Much love to his family and friends in this trying time." Yeah, this has been a tough week for me and the crew dealing with this. So thank you for that, Hyperguyver. We appreciate it. Then we got Samuel Main sending in a sticker. Let's see what it is. It is a pear with a cup of coffee, which I think we both could use right about now.
Yeah, I don't think
Andre and I
I'm
very well this week.
Go get myself an iced coffee right now. Do the super chat for 2 minutes.
I can do that.
My iced coffee.
Absolutely. Kenneth LaRock has been a member for 34 months, just 2 months shy of 3 years. Thank you for that, Kenneth. We got Callum Lyle in the house. How you been? Sends in 5 Australian dollary dues. Says grace is an R word. The fact that they compared this to Kill Bill and Breaking Bad is beyond me. What are these people? Can they even read a book? They took inspiration from those things, and from what it sounds like, because I haven't watched them in their entirety, but from what I've seen, they just rip shit off.
I'm back again.
Some really lazy writing, it sounds like, in this Acolyte show. Yeah, no, I was just talking about the screen, the one that's on screen here. But you've actually seen the show. I said I got to imagine it feels more like just a ripoff than something that's actually inspired by things like Kill Bill and Breaking Bad and whatnot. Would you say?
I don't see any Kill Bill or Breaking Bad in it at all. All I see there is a really pretentious showrunner who says, "Hey, I was thinking of these things when I was writing it, but you, the viewer, you're not going to be able to detect that when you're watching it because I'm that shitter writer."
That's like a musician going, "What do you mean this song's crap? I was listening to Led Zeppelin 4 the whole time I was writing it. It should be amazing." Like,
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck does one have to do with the other? And that's
it's funny. It's funny you should mention that because I just got the email. Led Zeppelin 4 is loaded with mistakes, missing chords and beats, and poor mixing. And you just mentioned Led Zeppelin 4.
Oh, no surprise there. So good thing I'm not such a big Led Zeppelin fan. I like them, but yeah.
No, I'm
I
just
don't have
thinking,
like
like,
many of their collectors albums of those guys, but
yeah,
yeah.
well, someone is listening and they're acting really quickly. So I'm just saying, but yeah.
Wow. Well, you know, that's sad to hear because yeah, usually I think that that's a better way of doing these newer remixes. It's actually going back to the original tapes and all that business, but they're gonna miss shit, which is also happening in movies too. So in fact, they just had to reissue Titanic because of some off-screen dialogue. That's one of the more common mistakes that I've been coming up lately, cropping up is they're missing off-screen dialogue. So that means you're not even getting all the soundtrack together when you're doing these remasters, are
I
you?
hate it when remasters go and they ruin the original for something that
Well, it's more
probably
so like
just
they
need a
clearly
remaster.
didn't keep shit together like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Like that's and not only that, it's like you have 100 different versions you could go by. Because I got into this, I wouldn't say it was an argument. It wasn't even really an argument, just kind of like a discussion slash close to disagreement with somebody when I was talking about color timing, one of your favorite topics of this.
Oh yeah.
And I said,
They fucked that up.
it's not that hard. I mean, you just go buy some older things, and this individual's like, well, you can't compare what a 4K can do to a laser disc or a VHS. I said, I know you're right as far as quality wise, but what you can do is use a laser disc, which 9 times out of 10 was made at the time from whatever main, interpositive master there was, and you can at least try to make it look closer to that than some of the stuff that's coming out. Because some of the stuff coming out is just you got people looking like Smurfs when they have a blue overtone on things and everything. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah,
Yeah.
like
Oh
the
yeah.
Conan
This
problem
is
and
when
stuff like that. So
I'm glad you mentioned that because, like, for instance, I have everyone knows I'm a feinschmecker. I like things pure, and there's a community of people like me that likes things pure, that will fix stuff that was botched by the studio. Like, for instance, Blade Runner in 4K looks pretty darn amazing. They fixed so many beloved mistakes, and they fucked up the color timing when they shouldn't have. But luckily, some intrepid fans, they have gone back to the Laserdisc, and then they have fixed the color timing manually, frame by frame, just for the fans. And that
yeah.
version, which has been color fixed, looks a million times better than the official release.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. I mean, Terminator 2 has been somewhat fixed. I mean, I still won't say it looks as crisp as it could, but I mean, the colors are at least right.
Yeah.
Star Wars is another one,
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
oh
sure it
yeah.
doesn't
Oh
look
my!
as
Don't
crisp
even
as
get
the
me started.
yeah, sure it doesn't look as crisp as the Disney 4Ks that are out there, but you know what? It actually feels like Star Wars like it should. It's in the right color timing.
I think that's much more important than crispness.
See, and the thing is soundtracks are often the ones that are overlooked, and that's where I brought that up before with missing dialogue and stuff like that. You'd be surprised, and that's where a lot of people get upset because they just instead of or they'll sweeten the soundtrack in more recent years. That's where when they were doing like DVD in the early days, they do the new 5.1 mixes. Well, they just throw in newer sound effects that so like people get pissed, especially on things like Batman and stuff like that. That made people mad.
Yeah.
And understandably so. Callum Lyle sends in another Australian 5 and says, I think the offing them scene was the message from KK to the audience to do the same thing. Well, I don't know about that. I haven't seen it, but would you say
Well,
that's
I
a
have.
plausibility?
No, I don't think that's KK to the audience. I think that's all of the people there to white people in general, because basically it's strong girl number one, as the critical drinker calls her, our hero, uh, Osa, who who goes to the one white token Jedi and basically tells him, "Your people have victimized me. Go off yourself." And he's like, "You're right. I cannot live with my guilt. I'm gonna go perform self deletion now," and he does. I think that's
How convenient.
much more closer to the intended message than that this is what Kennedy wants of the fans. I think this
Yeah.
is more like this is what we, the makers, want all white people to do in general. I think that's
Yeah.
closer to it.
Yeah,
Not saying that's a
I
good
can buy
thing,
that. No.
but that's what you can kind of read of it when it's one token white guy who is subject to that.
Yeah. And I don't know. I've been getting some flack. I'm not saying Led Zeppelin ain't good. They're good. I picked 4 for a reason. I'm just they're not one of my main groups to go to. That's all. Yeah, that's all. They're kind of like, how everybody loves Metallica. like, but I'm more of a Megadeth person. Like, yeah, everybody loves Led Zeppelin. I'm more of a, into insert whatever here at that
I
time
think
period.
everyone would be Megadeth people if they took the time to discover Megadeth, which I have done over the last few months. Holy
They
shit,
kick ass,
Megadeth
don't
is
they?
like Megadeth. Him. I mean, it's
Dave
Dave
Mustaine,
Mustaine
yeah.
band. Yeah, I mean, they call it. And I read there was like a time when Dave Mustaine was thinking of going solo. Dude, you are already solo.
Yeah,
Your
right.
solo act is called Megadeth. Megadeth plus studio musicians. And yeah, fine. So you may use the same ones for a few years and stuff. But let's be honest here. Megadeth is just a name for the Dave Mustaine solo project, and it's freaking awesome, and it's better than Metallica.
See, and here's another option for their, yeah, Danzig is another one. Yeah. 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 Well, and here's the thing. You can find your Megadeth fans real quick once you bring it up. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Symphony of
I think I'm gonna try
Destruction.
to.
Oh my God.
I think I'm gonna try to go to the Megadeth concert in Germany next week or so. See if
I
it
haven't
works.
heard how they've been lately. I know he fucked his voice up a few years back because there was a point where he wasn't even gonna tour anymore or any of that kind of stuff. But then I think he got
Yeah,
better.
he got throat cancer, but he got better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, I'm glad you're starting to hear it. I think I told you this already. Symphony of Destruction was the first song I ever heard on CD.
The first one I ever heard was "Angry Again" because it was on the soundtrack for The Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah. Well, that just happened to be I've never heard a CD before unless you consider the radio, right? And my buddy my cousin had a CD, and he's like, "You want to listen to a CD?" I'm like, "What's it? Oh, whoa, okay, cool." Like he puts it in, and it's Symphony of Destruction, and it starts off with the choir, and then just,
Yeah.
and it's like, holy shit, we're not hearing any hiss, we're not hearing any crackle. What the hell is this? I don't think at that point I was just like, I had an eargasm because I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard anything this crisp and clear before. You know what I
It
mean?
was kind of like the same experience that many would have watching DVD for the first time. For those of us that
Absolutely.
can remember the
Yeah.
transition from VHS to DVD, and that was the moment we realized, holy shit, everything we've seen up until this point that we thought was crisp was really kind of shitty.
Indeed. I remember that first moment I stuck in and I saw that Warner logo pop up and I'm like, holy crap, that looks like film. Like, it's like, what? Yeah. But thank you so much for that one. And then we've got Callum Lyle again, who says the She-Hulk actress, is shilling this show and mouthing off again. But who cares about the lost cause of a person? Anywho, there's no point in ranting. Now is she shilling to get the show?
She's shilling She-Hulk or is she shilling the Acolyte? Either way, she's shilling because she's desperate for a job. She's desperate to be picked up for more She-Hulk. Which
not only
going to be, but probably showing her, pledging her allegiance to the cause of wokeness and Disney.
Makes you wonder if she's going to be popping up in all these cameos and things that they were talking about before, huh?
Yeah. But she's probably going to get cameos, but probably she doesn't want a cameo. She wants like a co-starring role, not special appearance by. It's going to be a far bigger picture.
Well, yeah. But even then, I'm starting to wonder if those special appearances by have dried up, is my point. We'll be getting a tweet sooner or later that says She-Hulk will not be appearing in Deadpool 3 to go along with the meme. I don't know if you've seen those.
I have not, but I am relieved and I hope this is true because honestly, I don't want to see her because that series was so bad that the character is ruined for me now. And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah, because basically what it is, just to explain it to the audience and you real quick, remember the rumor was going around for the longest time that Taylor Swift was going to be playing Dazzle in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah, I remember that.
Because she'd even had some meeting with Disney. Well, we come to find out it's probably had to do with her concert, and that was it.
That probably that sounds more plausible, and even that
anyway
for them.
Yeah, anyway, so I can't remember who broke it that she's not going to be in the movie. But so like everybody's like, it started, I believe, with Warner Brothers popping up and saying Beetlejuice will not be in Deadpool 3. And then so everybody started putting things out, up to like so and so won't be in Deadpool 3. I'm not going to be in Deadpool 3. Certain stars have come out and said even Ricky Barrett, not Ricky, but Jesus, what's his face? I forgot his name now. Come out and said, I'm not in Deadpool 3. But anyway, go ahead. What'd you say? Sorry.
No, I said, yeah, Pinhead will not be in Deadpool 3.
Pinhead won't be in Deadpool. Yeah, no kidding. The Ninja Turtles will not be appearing in Deadpool 3. But yeah, so it's hard to say, Callum. I wonder if she's even got that cameo anymore. That was the point I was getting to anyway. But yeah, there's no real point in ranting. I mean, you just got to kind of laugh at the situation at this point because they got to be aware of how bad. In fact, have you been? Did I ask you this already, Andre, or not? Because I know we're watching Star Wars quadruple down on this bullshit with put a chick in it and make her gay. But so. I've been hearing multiple rumors now that Marvel has learned that they have to right this ship somehow. And I think we did talk about this because I think we had discussed how they got to get past these 2 or 3 movies they already have in the can, and then hopefully they're going to try and get shit back on track. And I think that's part of where some of the Daredevil reconfiguration comes in. And so yeah, the rumor going around is that Feige is licking his wounds right now. I don't know if you had heard that or not, but
well, okay, you know what? That's not enough because they need to understand that the movies that they have in the can and they're working on, more specifically, yeah, Deadpool, that's probably going to be fine. But then what's going to destroy them again? It's basically everything other than Daredevil on Disney Plus. So you have Agatha all along. That's going to damage them. And then you have this Ironheart thing that's going to damage them. You have Power Man that's going to damage them. And on the big screen, you have of course Captain America. That's really going to damage them. And then what's going to kill them after that is the Thunderbolts, which is another B team of rejects that the audience has already rejected, that they still decided to put in a movie. All of these projects should just be scrapped. Take the loss. Do a SAS law and take a tax rebate on them, because if they release those things, there's going to be no fixing it. But
you
someone else might have thoughts on that. We have in the back room here.
We might, but just before we do, I just got to say, I got to agree with Neon Knight here. We've all been saying it. Feige, he's not going to go anywhere, though. What he does need to do is give himself a promotion. So then he's no longer in charge of shit and put somebody else in charge. What do you say to that, Mr. WDW Pro?
I say that today is a disastrous day for the Walt Disney Company in ways that they perhaps cannot imagine. Everything across this company is on fire. You have correctly assessed that Marvel is in a terrible malaise where they cannot even get Blade out the door. But folks, I'm going to tell you there's far more. Andre, Tom, glad to be here on the show, and apologies for being late.
We're glad to have you.
Gentlemen, Disney is absolutely in a sky is falling situation. You've got them replacing the most iconic ride in the world at Disney World, and now it's coming to Disneyland, with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, a ride which somehow they managed to break just reskinning it. They can't keep it running. Celebrities are stuck on it, and now they are down for 4 hours at a time. That's bad enough. Well, how about this? Now we've got the Star Wars situation with the Acolyte that is so bad that we've went from hate to apathy to simply mocking it. That's the worst possible stage you can be in. And of course, Kathleen Kennedy now, she is truly the target of contempt along with Leslie Headland. Oh, add to that, Gina Carrano yesterday approved for going to Discovery now in her trial. So we might get a hold of Kathy's emails and find out exactly how much Leslie was involved in trying to take down Gina. Oh, is that not enough? You want some more? You want more? Well, folks, how about this? The Disney stock plunging as all of this is happening. And Bob Iger on pins and needles watching, waiting to see will Inside Out 2 do anything this weekend? Because if that movie fails, look out, whoa, Nelly. This whole company's about to start coming down because they have to attract families. This is truly, I have never seen this company in this kind of a situation where across every possible department, across every possible studio, they are in a calamity at this very moment. And guys, I'm here to tell you, the way you do this, the way you manage to sink a company, which is this big with this many different areas, is you have a unifying, corrupting mechanism. And I'm here to tell you, it's the anti-meritocracy. It's the DEI. It's the woke agenda in every part of the Disney company. And it has infiltrated it, and it is destroying it from the inside out. And yes,
I just got to say that
I
you're
meant to
being
say
punny
that.
there on purpose. But did you see this? Boom, baby, just went below.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nelson Peltz, a genius for getting out when he did. Folks, no financial advice from your pal Pro. But Nelson Peltz, you know, this was just last week that Peltz said, hey, we're out of this thing. And that's not to say that he won't come back. But you had the mainstream media growing, showing that Peltz had lost and Bob Iger was the winner. And guess what, folks? Peltz is a genius. He got out before the collapse again.
He got out when the getting was still good. When the getting was as good as it was going to be.
I don't know if you guys heard this. We covered this on the Pro channel this morning in the morning video.
I saw that video.
Disney Plus also fell out of the top 5 for biggest streamers. This is a company that had intended to take on Netflix. This is now a company that is beaten by Tubi. Tubi, folks. The top 5 streamers, you've got YouTube at the top. Glad to be here. Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, which they're sabotaging, don't worry, and then Tubi. Disney Plus is now down in the ranks of Roku.
So I read it wrong. Okay, I thought Tubi came out on top. So they beat Disney Plus out of the top 5. Gotcha.
That is correct. And I'll give you the link to that too. It's out of the LA Times. We've been predicting it now for quite a while, for months, and we were just waiting for it to happen. It happened, and there's no reason for Tubi now to give that back up. I mean, you might see Disney occasionally overtake, but what do you think? You think the Acolyte's going to beat Tubi? Come on. Yeah, listen, Kathleen Kennedy has single-handedly, her manifesto, her modus operandi has single-handedly managed to take down this company, along with Bob Iger, who wanted to pick a side. He wanted to pull away the veil. He wanted to be involved in the partisanship, and here is where we are.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a case study in DEI and political messaging gone wrong.
Guys, I want to apologize for coming in low energy, by the way. I apologize for that.
You should be. Damn.
I need to step it up next time.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You know, actually, I have a question to this. Let's get into that right away. In your opinion, considering just how bad the state of Disney is right now, and really you can't blame it on just a few key individuals because it's their fault. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy, she is one of the leading people, but ultimately it's Bob Iger because he let her have her way with the entire company and he hired more people like her. And we might have a discovery here soon. Will shareholders soon have reason to actually sue Disney and Bob Iger for violation of fiduciary duties? Because at some point here, there has to be some kind of evidence that they have neglected shareholders in favor of messaging.
So you can sue just about anyone for just about anything.
But specifically for fiduciary responsibilities, neglecting those.
It's an uphill battle, and the reason for that is going to be because these are subjective opinions that are being made at the C-suite level. But I want to give you a story about this that I think will shed some light on the difference in productive and successful companies in Disney, and then maybe that will answer the question in a roundabout way. So, folks, here's what I would say. Take Tesla for a moment. Tesla is on the opposite side of the getting into politics and how it's handled. Now, Elon Musk decided, as the richest man in the world, that he wanted to be engaged in politics. The problem with that is that Tesla was largely loved by the left, and then they left Tesla. Now, that required some recalibrating. And as a result, one of the things that Elon Musk did when he started taking an examination of Tesla and how to improve it was he started doing some basic job cuts. And one division of his company refused to do those job cuts. And that was the part of his company that installs the giant charging stations all over the country. And so they refused to do the job cuts. And what Elon Musk did was he fired the entire department all at once, unannounced, blew the minds of Ford and everybody else when they heard about this. Folks, we'll get right back to Disney in just a moment. I promise. I've got a reason for doing this. So Elon Musk fires the entire department, just bang, right away in a morning because they refused to do what the CEO said to do. Now, The media then ran with that and said, oh, Elon Musk has lost his ever-loving mind, which they say that every day. But what he did then was he began hiring back the people he wanted. You see, by firing the entire department, he got around all the issues of having to fire an individual for their merit or their merit. And so he just said, you're all gone now. And then he went back and said, all right, now the people I like, reapply for the position. And he started refilling that, but he emptied out the entire thing. It's very reminiscent of what you saw with X. Now compare that to Star Wars. I promised we'd come back to this. Compare that to Lucasfilm. Compare that to Disney. What Disney needs to do and what investors should be demanding be done. And perhaps what might cause someone to feel warranted to file suit over this is that Disney has not taken any positions, any stances, any hard changes that we can see to fix the abysmal failure of Star Wars. We have been gaslit ever since The Last Jedi that it's Russian bots out there trying to make a heyday of a Mayday of Star Wars. Folks, it is not. It is the mainstream middle, is the sensible center. It is the vast majority that have rejected Star Wars being turned into lesbian witch butt baby dramas. We're over it. We're done with it. And it's not that we're mad at it. It's not that we're apathetic. We're laughing at it. It's so stupid and so silly. And it begs the question, too, and I'd love to hear what both of you think about this. Where was someone when they were filming this bizarre witch ritual scene where they're writhing in a, what would you say? In a manner that suggests they're having a bedroom experience.
Yeah.
So they're all out there writhing together and screeching together and the power of one, the power of many. I mean, that's just stupid writing.
I'm very disappointed that they didn't even take off their robes. I mean, if you're proper witches, you're supposed to run around naked and howl at the moon or something.
Don't worry, that's coming up in the next episodes, and you won't like what you see, Andre. You'll wish those robes were right back on them. It'll be like Lizzo at a water park. But Andre,
maybe they figured that out behind the scenes, and we already got the sanitizer.
That's right. Put it back on. Yeah. But Andre, where was someone, anybody, at the set that day who looked at this and said, we are going to be memed out of existence. We cannot shoot this because this will be turned into the absolute target of what we've become. We cannot do this scene. Where was someone to have that kind of wisdom?
If I were to guess, they were all around. And you know what they did? They thought, we are going to get memed all around. But that's much later, and I am not going to be the one blamed for that.
I'm getting a paycheck today.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas if I speak out right now and say, I know you're all high-fiving each other for how wonderfully inclusive and stuff like this is, but this is really shit and it's kind of ridiculous. That person would be so fired. They would be cancelled from the industry and everything like that. Because this is Lucasfilm right now is an environment where the people who are sensible just shut up. They're like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna film this. I'm gonna take my paycheck, and I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna take a drink, and then I'm gonna share everything to WDW Pro and to Midnight's Edge and to Doomcock and to all the people that want to share the truth here. That's what's going to happen. Meanwhile, they just go back to work, suffer in silence, keep on spilling the guts to all of us.
By the way, I need my sources to stop retiring and finding new places to work. Dear sources, please stop doing that. It's making it harder.
Exactly. Whereas the people that are sensible, they just have to shut up. You think that anyone on the set, because I guarantee you, the director of the episode, who is also another uber wokey and a diversity hire at that, and literally everyone there, they're going to be like, wow, so inclusive. Yay, girl power, yes. Right? They're all going to be like that. Proper echo chamber. Anyone dare speaking out against that? That person is so done in the industry. So
I think Star Wars is done in the industry.
Well, I think
we've reached that point, Andre.
Yeah.
I mean, where can this franchise go from here? It can't. No one wants to see anything that Star Wars releases. And that's why, by the way, and folks will know who we're talking about without having to name them. That's why you've seen some of these YouTube personalities who do not swim in our circles. That's why you've seen them after they came out originally and said, oh, it's the greatest show. It's wonderful. I'm loving it. That's why you saw them start putting out polls of their own followers on Twitter. And when they started seeing the results from their own followers, that's when you started to see the shift in tone. because they need to recalibrate, because they miscalculated exactly how much people loathe Lucasfilm right now.
It's funny you mentioned that. I don't suppose you have seen the video we dropped a couple of hours ago.
Please share, Andre.
We covered a certain screechy someone that's been very supportive of the Acolyte.
Well, hello.
And who put out a poll on X.
So, what kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
Yeah, and Tom, I don't suppose that you have the results. I don't suppose you have the results of that poll that our good friend Grace put up.
I gotta beat something to death here. Hang on, like my stuff's all going crazy. Yes, I do have that image. Give me a second. This was the one from last night, anyway.
Folks, do not send the authorities to Tom's house. It's not a literal thing that's being beaten to death.
No,
it's a synthetic thing, folks.
Synthetic machine. No worries. It'll just kill us later.
Well, yeah, Grace Randolph, one of the biggest. I'm just going to be delicate and say one of the biggest supporters of the Acolyte on YouTube, and she did some really good interpretations of the deep lore that went into the series. In fact, I think it was so deep that you might suspect that she possibly got a cheat sheet from Disney. And she got so much pushback from her followers, so much pushback. So she put up this poll here on X, probably because she's trying to maintain her own credibility, I should imagine, in the eyes of her audience. So she asked her audience, are you interested in any upcoming Star Wars projects? That's what we have on screen right now for those that are only listening. And the number one choice, as selected by her own followers with more than 17,000 respondents, no, I'm done. More than 50% said they're done with Star Wars no matter what. That is a pretty not ringing endorsement of the Acolyte, let's put it that way. And the runner-up choice for what they were the most excited for was the Mando and Grogu movie, with less than a quarter of respondents being excited for that. A mere 15% being excited for the Faloni movie, and 9.9% being interested in anything else. Now, Pro, what's your thoughts on these results? And I have one question in particular. You may know where I'm going with this, but your thoughts on the results of this poll from the followers of one of the biggest supporters of Kathleen Kennedy and the Acolyte.
So one of the things in this poll that's interesting is the third one. Yes, list below. And that's a request. Are you interested in any upcoming Star Wars project at all? That answer should make it impossible for no, I'm done to be the majority. Because if you have any interest in anything Star Wars related, any video game, any short, any movie, any book, anything, comic, doesn't matter. Is there a toy? Would you buy a freaking toy? Well, you would pick yes, list below. That's there, I think, to make it impossible for No, I'm Done to be the top selection. And guess what? It's not stopping it. And the other thing about this that's very interesting, take a look at the 17,000 votes. And I don't know when you guys got this screenshot. Looks like 2 days ago. That's going to be a higher number.
I actually was just going to bring that up, Pro. I'm looking now. Not a single thing has changed since I took this screenshot yesterday.
I would like to point you to one thing here. It says under No, I'm Done, final results. It is not going to change.
So this is it.
Yes.
She had enough.
This poll was only open for a number of hours. And that's when the screenshot was taken. So it's not going to change anymore because it's already final.
Okay, Andre, here's a question for you. Did she shut it down in your opinion? We're speculating here. We don't have Grace on the channel right now.
No,
she shut it down because this went the wrong way?
No, she didn't. We have to give her that. It was posted right away that this is a poll that is only open for so and so many hours. And there was a countdown. And it closed exactly when it was supposed to close. So this is one I do not believe has been fortified in any way, shape, or form. I do
Well,
not
how many of
believe
the
it was shut down earlier.
17,600, Andre? How many of those 17,600 do you think are Russian bots planted by Vladimir Putin? How many of those are coming from Zimbabwe?
I think
If
15.8%.
Yeah, if I were to guess, I would say exactly right around 0.
Yes.
No. I'm pretty sure all those votes for that Faloni movie, they're bots.
That could
So-
be, but they would be the
That's
bots
why I said
from the Kennedy camp.
15.8%.
So, a couple other things I would say about this. First of all, the only thing that matters to Disney is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, because nothing else is going to bring back fans to Star Wars. This is everything they have. This is the only
But
thing
look
they
how
have.
there's no real that means
Right.
nobody
You've got
cares.
22 of
Yeah.
Grace's, folks, of Grace's audience, not the Midnight's Edge audience. Grace Randolph's
You know what?
audience, 22% are interested.
Andre, why don't you go put a poll up right now if you can figure it out? Same exact kind of poll and see what our audience says.
Well, before I do that, I have a question, and I want to hear your guys' discussion of it. Then I'll set up a poll here.
Sure.
But Pro, is there something you notice is missing from this list here of available options? Is there some kind of big, formally announced project that we are told is supposed to start filming in just a matter of months that is absent from this list?
Well, let me name a few things that are absent, and you tell me which one of these you might be looking for, because there's a long list. We are missing Skeleton Crew. We are missing the James Mangold supposed Star Wars movie.
Don't care.
We're missing
Don't care.
Ryan Johnson's trilogy. We are.
Don't
I
care.
can keep going. I can keep going with the things that are missing.
Yeah. Okay.
Poor
Tom,
baby Rey.
Yeah.
Sweet
This
baby
thing
Rey,
right
yeah.
here, this massive movie, which is soft intended to start a whole new trilogy. This thing wasn't in that list. Why do you think that may be? Why was it not there? Speculate for me. Why would Grace not include this in the poll?
Because Grace recognizes that the Rey movie has very little chance of getting enough votes to prevent no in all capital letters from being the number one. Grace is trying to choose 3 options that will beat the 4th option. So, Mandalorian movie, that's the best chance. Dave Filoni, maybe he's still exciting to Grace Randolph fans. And then anything else, oh please, oh God, please, and include Rey in that is the 3rd option. Rey is not big enough in Grace Randolph's mind to be bigger. And that means, by the way, folks, Grace doesn't think the sequel trilogy is bigger, because Rey is the main character in the sequel trilogy. Grace, not even Grace Randolph, thinks that the sequel trilogy is bigger than a Mandalorian movie or a Dave Filoni movie. And by the way, we're going to have exclusive news breaking on the Pro Channel at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time today, folks. Coach from Echo Base Network is going to be joining me. We're going to break exclusive news on the Dave Filoni movie. We've got the goods. We're bringing the receipt. And I'm here to tell you, it's the Acolyte fallout. And it's going to continue, I think. I think there's going to be a cascade of fallout
of course, Filoni
from the Acolyte and Ahsoka.
has inserted all this witch shit. But I mean, come on. Why didn't Grace put this on her poll, Pro? I mean, they keep telling me that the fans love her.
I think she should have put, well, Rey is about as popular as the Galactic Star Cruiser, because the Galactic Star Cruiser, that hotel that they built in Disney World, where you were supposed to meet Rey, that entire experience was built around Rey, and they closed it in less than a year. So how often does Disney literally close something from unpopularity? Like, they will do anything to keep it open. They will flood it with charities, with people who are part of charities.
Splash
to keep it
Mountain.
Open.
I mean,
well, that's a different story, though.
I know it's a different story, but it does kind of fall in the category of the
listen. If they reopen the Galactic Star Cruiser and it's starring Rey, but she's a woman of color, that's when we'll know that that's the Splash Mountain territory.
Yeah,
but Rey is.
I think it wasn't there.
Hotel. Tell me.
I don't know. This is just my speculating, but I think that she would have gone in trouble with Disney if she had put up a poll asking about that, and it went to show that there was absolutely no demand for it. That would be very inconvenient.
Yeah, because I bet
for
you
her to discover.
I bet you the
Well,
Faloni movie would have scored higher.
Well, here's a question for both
And
of
she
you.
knows it. That's exactly what Andre is saying. Yeah.
Is it not surprising that we have the Acolyte, which is the femme fatale, and I emphasis on fatale, folks, here, and not because of the femmes, but because of the anti-win that this is for Disney. We've got this feminist, postmodern, witchy kind of thing with the Acolyte.
Mhm.
And if I'm a marketing guru for Disney, if I'm a marketing person for for Lucasfilm, would you not have started running all kinds of stuff about a Rey movie coming out about this time? And we have crickets right now.
Because
It's
they
as
started
if-
shooting it. Yeah.
It's as if they don't know when or how or what Rey might be if they ever even get there. And I suspect that they're having some issues with the director. That's what I think. I don't want to say too much, but I think that there's something going on with Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, the director that was selected for the Rey movie. And I got a feeling that the leash is getting a little bit shorter between Disney proper and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy after what they're watching happen.
Mhm. Well, we have a special guest in the back. He's not really a guest because he lives here. But we say that because otherwise he freaks out because he's like, I'm not a YouTuber. Ladies and gentlemen, VIP Mexican Iron Ocean. Acolyte.
I don't-
Space, they them. Jedi Witch or Jedi Switch? Which is it?
I don't know who this Mexican Iron Man is. I'm here from the Jedi Witch Order. How did you guys like our show?
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Or a sandwich?
I don't know. I'm a they them, but I brought some thread because the Force is a thread.
Careful, Mexican Iron
red
OSHA.
thread.
You'll impregnate yourself with that thing. Be careful with it.
Oh, it's feeling tingly down there.
You
Oh,
don't
no,
have a good exit strategy, Mexican Iron OSHA.
Oh,
You don't have a way to get them out.
I'm feeling tingly. By the way, right now, Andre's like, this is the type of crap they should do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This
No,
is why
I'm kind of
I
like
have the
wondering
Tuesday and Thursday.
their Mrs. Witch Mayhem. Will our answer depend if we are decide if we are turned into newts or asked to commit self-deletion? That's so. How freedom do you
I am
answer?
here because I did not appreciate the negative reviews of your channel. I am very concerned with you, Mr. Pro. Your criticisms are patriarchy, and Andre and Tom, I don't appreciate the negative. You're stirring things up, and not in a good way. Not in a good way, because we Space Jedi witches, we're just trying to fight the patriarchy. Bad.
Mexican Iron OSHA, do you suddenly feel yourself attracted to pale-skinned women with horns growing out of their face?
I do, because David Filoni's wife was on set and she was just so inspirational. She was just so motivational, and she just was like snap, snap, snap. And there's just so many things that I want to do on Star Wars now in the Acolyte.
Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. You know the only way you can make Mexican Iron OSHA disappear? Say the name Gina Carrano.
Oh no!
Yes. See? Flees. He flees, I tell you. Oh. Such a lovely person.
Yeah, that's who was on the set. She's so inspirational.
Yeah.
I learned so much.
Annie Wilkes.
Do you remember how much heat
She's
we
Star
took?
Wars #1 fan.
Do you remember how much fire we took for covering Dave Filoni's wife, even though she's a Star Wars writer? Do you remember that? I mean, people
Oh,
were furious
yes.
about that.
You know what's funny is
Well, do
okay.
tell, because we actually have
Yeah.
this image in our next video. So give us the advance warning of what we can expect.
Oh, the people were absolutely livid. The very few pro Star Wars people, but there were people who were livid, saying, this is out of bounds. You can't do this. When we're talking about the fact that Dave Filoni's wife has been part of a occult coven, and that she's a real believer in this kind of stuff, and she's also a Star Wars writer. Oh, and there's this owl thing that Filoni created that is supposed to represent her. We went over like all this crazy stuff, and people were furious and said, wives are out of bounds. We're like, no. She's a Star Wars writer. Like, this is another case of nepotism. She's right in there with them. And it turns out, I don't think folks are doubting us anymore, because guess what? Star Wars has gone to the witches. This makes Harry Potter and Sabrina look like they're talking about, I don't know, Care Bear Stairs instead. This is full-blown occult crap.
I actually have to hold Andre to task, or however you want to put it, for something that we put in the video here. Because we compare her, because another viewer did, to Annie Wilkes of Misery fame.
Yeah, no, it was one of our viewers.
I would love to have, some Annie Wilkes footage with her face over it, but I just was thinking about that. I'm like, crap, here's the problem with that, Andre. Annie Wilkes gives more of a shit about canon. Her whole thing, her whole entire fucking motivation for doing what she is doing is because she disagrees with what the writer has done to the character.
So are we saying that she was a toxic fan?
Yes. But anyway, we have another gentleman joining us. I actually sent him the link earlier, but he must have just saw it. We have John F. Trent here. How you doing, friend?
Hey, John, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Until you saw this, right?
By the way, I think John already knows what I'm going to be covering this afternoon, and I think this is going to start taking over the internet a little bit. John, I don't want to say too much, but we've got some news on Dave Faloni and the upcoming movie. Is that fair to say?
Yes, we do have some news. Broke yesterday, I believe. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Happy to cover it. So I think there's going to be a huge fallout from the Acolyte and Ahsoka. I don't think they wanted to admit what a failure Ahsoka was. They thought they could rebound this thing, and I don't think they can.
This is Last Jedi all over again, but it's going to be worse than Solo, in my opinion.
Well, the only difference is that back in the days of The Last Jedi, there was a much bigger fan base. Well, because of The Last Jedi, so many fans have just split right now. So while people are as outraged, there's fewer people to be outraged because so many checked out already. So I guess that's a saving grace. Great success.
I think that's exactly, you're on point there, Andre. That's exactly
I was going to say,
we're going to see. Because, I mean, you already see, we do have some viewership numbers already for the first 2 episodes. Obviously, Lucasfilm said they did 11.1 million viewers. But if you globally, if you break that down, that's really only 820 million minutes watched total, which is less than what Ahsoka did in just the US alone, according to Nielsen data. And then if you also look at US numbers that we have from Luminate, I think it's only just above 200 million total. And it was at the very bottom of their chart. So it's unlikely this show will probably even chart on Nielsen's chart once we get the data in about a month or so. So it's completely shrunk
a little bit, John.
And it's been shrinking. I think overall.
Well, I think it might actually hit like number 9, number 10 on the original content for maybe the first 2 weeks. And the reason I think that is, one, they released 2 episodes at the very beginning, and I think that might boost the numbers. But then I think that actually people had to tune into the 3rd episode because they couldn't believe it. And I'm not saying that that's hate watching. I think people actually tuned in because they were shocked, like they wanted to laugh at it. And that's a different kind of watching. But then I think John's exactly right. This thing is going to collapse.
I'm not so sure about that either. I was looking at IMDb reviews, and the first episode has around 11,000 total reviews. The second one is at like 9.9, and then the third one was at like 7.5. So obviously, you have a little bit longer time frame there with the first 2 over a week. But the fact that it's still kind of lower to me shows that you might have had even less people tuning in.
So there is that, you're right, John. Too. Your scenario is the one I would like to see happen.
Or they're fortifying it, one or the other. Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to like be surprised if the 3rd episode does better, because obviously there was a lot of discussion about how awful it was going to be. People do indeed like to look at train wrecks. This episode was indeed a train wreck, but I can also see like people are just they're so over Star Wars. Like I said, if you look at the pattern with the Disney Plus shows, the viewership has been declining every single show. So you follow the pattern, like this would even still drop as well. But overall, I think people are going to be abandoning the show and Star Wars. They're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, we have another panelist joining us this morning. We weren't expecting this person because they told us they had better shit to do. but he's here. Paul.
Absolutely, I'd better. Hold on a second.
That's exactly how he put it. He's like, I'm not going to be here
Oh.
Friday. I got better shit to do.
Well, the way he's introed into the show right now
flushing-
indicates that.
Do the flushing noise. He just went.
I don't. Oh shit! I don't have that ready. Damn it! What do you got on your hat there?
I didn't know whether you wanted me for the few minutes. So this is.
Oh
this
no!
is
Of
the-
course.
This is the not the B-52. What? Oh God, the De Havilland. What's the big plane, Ray?
Oh, that they made the movie about?
The
Albatross.
Lancaster. So we have
Oh.
a working Lancaster in Canada from World War II, and these are the call signs from it. And I was up
Oh.
in a Stearman biplane. That was my birthday present.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's
Also,
right. You
yeah.
said that. Yes.
World War II trainer plane, Stearman biplane. Just had the time of my life.
Fantastic.
It was
Awesome.
great. So, but I got back in time. I thought I would go slumming with you guys if you're still on.
Your wife let you come out and play for a bit.
You have to thank her for us. First, for giving you a great present. Second, for bringing you back alive again. And third, for letting you come out and play.
She was the one who suggested. She said, "Aren't your guys on? Why don't you go check them out?" So
I
Oh,
got
well,
better
we have to-
shit to do. She said.
she doesn't want me around.
Were you
Anyways.
flying or were you a passenger?
Well, no, I wasn't flying it. So the
Oh, okay.
pilot is behind you, and then you're in the front, and it was the most comfortable plane I'd ever been in. I was actually quite shocked. I've never been in a biplane before, but what a beautiful, comfy ride because of the double wings, right?
Right.
It was stunning. It was just, and the weather up here was spectacular. It was really,
Oh,
really
fantastic. Glad to
I
hear
just
it.
took a look at my GoPro footage, and it's fantastic. So, anyways, gentlemen, nice to. I'm
Now that
sorry
you've made us
I
thoroughly
interrupted.
jealous.
I'm making you jealous. That was my entire intent.
Well, you do that every day, but it's okay. We put up with it.
So you guys aren't talking about the Acolyte, are you?
Not
A little
directly,
bit
but
beyond
indirectly.
that. A little bit beyond that, indirectly. But,
Nice
yeah,
to
talking
see
there.
John and Pro on. And
Yeah,
Mike.
so then you know it's real.
Yeah, you know shit's real.
Yes.
I only miss Mexican Iron OSHA. I mean, that was I thought we
She
were going to have
was
Iron
beautiful.
OSHA for the rest. Stunning and brave.
Stunning
brave.
and brave
Oh,
and
Chato, did you
beautiful.
see me dressed up a minute ago?
No.
Oh, wow. You missed it. I had my my Jedi witch mask and Jerry curls on.
Well, you just have to rewind, and it'll still
Yeah,
be
that's
there.
Andre's way of saying, and he better not do that again.
Yeah, because you're not doing it again. Yeah. But let's grab some super chats here actually while we had a little bit of a break and all the
And then we'll
talk. 'Cause
get
we got,
right back on with business.
yeah, because you guys have been very
patient.
patient, and a lot of these are Disney related anyway. So we got Ruby who gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Almost every time Ruby Hoove, I've noticed, gives out a membership. So thank you for that. Packing Proton sends in another 5 and says Wilton the Troll said Midnight's Edge usually isn't 12 p.m. on the dot. No.
No, and we don't claim to be. If you look at
No.
the time, we always set it to start 5 past. There's a reason. For
So
that.
then when we started at the top of the hour, you guys say, oh, they're early. See, that's the trick.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason Webster sends an Australian 5 and says, I'm at the point where I believe Kathleen Kennedy maybe not only deliberately destroying franchises, she's deliberately destroying Disney. Well, you would think. No, but again, like Jason, it's what's the old saying, Andre? Never attribute malice where incompetence can
will
be
suffice. Yeah.
attributed or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and in this case, do I think she believes the shit that she's spewing? Yes. Do I believe that she thinks there's some untapped audience out there? Yes, because she's not the only one. There are so many people who think there's all these people hiding under a rock that are just afraid of all the white men like us. And if they get rid of us, this is why they're trying to get rid of us, guys. So keep this in mind. If they get rid of us, then it will feel safe for all the others. This is exactly what they think. So then they think once they get rid of all the toxic white men in all these IP franchise fandoms, that these LGBTQ whatevers are going to just come flocking to the franchises. Because for some reason in their fucking minds, they think that there's an entire swath of people that are not enjoying franchises because of the fans.
Tom, they view us as a threat, and they'd rather have a thread.
And also
Yeah.
keep this in mind: if we learned anything from, if the numbers are anything like what Xbox thinks, because Xbox thinks that there's an untapped resource of about 3 billion gamers around the world that you can reach with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Probably numbers are similar for movies, and Kathleen Kennedy and company probably genuinely believes that if we just can make it safe and inclusive for everyone, then 3 billion more people are going to come and watch our stuff. And the white people, well, if they maybe they'll evict, they won't be missed, and if they don't, we'll just assume that they're going to be here no matter what, because that's kind of like what they seem to be going with. But it's not working, because what's actually happening is that the more inclusive and for everyone they make it, no one is watching. I mean, because really, what is the Acolyte? It is the single most expensive LGBTQ plus production ever made. I mean, and that's kind of like a special category of movies. You've always had like movies that especially target the LGBTQ audience, and that's perfectly fine and nothing wrong with that. You've always had it, and they have always had a very limited budget because you are reaching a very limited audience. And outside of movie critics, there's not going to be much crossover to the general audience. Movie studios, they tended to know this up until very recently, when the most expensive such movie ever made was released in the guise of Bros, and it flopped spectacularly. But of course, it's been topped now by this LGBTQ plus, or this Pride special from Star Wars, which cost the same as 11 Godzilla minus ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's very bold of them to make something for like 1% of the population at this price point. And it's so inclusive that it's exclusionary. It's like, it's unless you're a lesbian of color, this series really isn't for you.
Well, I have an explanation for the dive in numbers. Too many of their audience was out and camped on campus lots.
Yeah, they were out there protesting and doing what they're supposed to be doing.
They didn't have time to watch it.
They're making a difference.
That's what made the difference, is that they were all protesting.
Wi-Fi was just too spotty out there on the campus greens. Could not get it on their devices. No
charging port.
They
refused to use any kind of Israeli electronics, which meant everything. So,
and of course, you have to see it from their point of view. I mean, if they have the choice between passively supporting the cause by watching Disney Plus, or actively supporting it by being on campus championing the eradication of all Jews everywhere, of course they're gonna do the more virtuous, active thing.
Correct. Plus, several of them probably were looking to get laid out there also.
Which is hard when there aren't restrooms and thus you're having to wear adult diapers. It does impede on your layability.
Why do you think everybody wears skirts now?
That's correct. So there you go.
I want to congratulate Mike on committing. When Mike came on here, he didn't just go buy any spool of thread. He got the most crimson red thread he could find, baby. That is commitment. Look at that sucker.
Sith red, baby. Sith red. This is the official Jedi Witch thread here.
Oh, I thought it represented something else. I'm sorry.
That's the thread of the month.
Did you guys see that Leslie Headland has been trying to say that they're not dark side or light side, that they're in the gray?
Here we go.
Yeah.
That was the actress, I think, maybe saying that.
Yeah.
Well, she thought they were talking about Gandalf. Again.
And I had a rant about the whole light versus dark side thing, because because that's kind of what the whole prequels are about, right? Is that Anakin is stuck between the absolution of the Sith and the dogmatic beliefs of the Jedi, and that's kind of how things fell apart for them. And that's where I believe, if you kind of think about it, where the original trilogy comes from, where Luke is the new Jedi, right? Like, he is the new order of Jedi. They had to change in order to keep up with the time. So I don't see how there could be a gray Jedi, because that's what Dooku was all about, right? Was that he tried to do this middle ground thing and it didn't work. He eventually went to the dark side. Like it's just
Right.
it's you can't.
Now,
I don't see
imagine,
how a gray
Tom,
Jedi would work. Yeah,
everybody just imagine the difference in money, the vast. I mean, holy cow! I mean, this is bigger than the GDP of nations. The difference is if they had, when Disney had acquired Star Wars, if they had said, okay, here's what we're going to do, we're going to have it be about Luke finding the right path forward for the Jedi and building them into the right kind of thing, but there's a traitor within or whatever. You know, imagine if that had been the story versus what we have. The huge economy that would have been all around Star Wars. Disney Plus may have taken down Netflix. That's the kind of seismic shift we're talking about that was sank by Kathleen Kennedy and the stank of what she's made.
We wanted to see the ongoing saga of Luke Skywalker come to a conclusion, and that's what they took away from us. It was so simple, not hard to do, but as I said in several videos, Kathleen Kennedy and I guess Leslie Headland just hates Luke and is trying to bury anything that he was involved with, and that this was Disney's downfall. Very simple, not hard.
You know what's sad is Luke could have died in The Force Awakens, and fans wouldn't have had a problem had he gone out like, basically like Obi-Wan had. Because I think that's what a lot of fans were kind of expecting, was him to be the Obi-Wan character now.
He did die, Tom. They did kill him.
Yeah, they did through Skype.
He needed to have an anime level galactic battle. And if he died at the end of that, I would have been fine. But he was not the decrepit old, I don't mean to say this in a pejorative way, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan was spent. Luke wasn't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
See the big battle, whatever it was, and we would have been cheering like mad nutcases.
Oh, I've said it before too. I agree with you, Paul, because it had Luke actually shown up at the end of the movie and not broadcast himself to death, then the fans probably wouldn't have had as big of a problem with The Last Jedi, because that's the issue most people have, was how they treated Luke. Had he just sat there at that moment and it had been paying homage, to the scene where he raised the X-Wing out of the water in the second film, where he finally, gets the notion like, shit, I got to go save my sister. I got to go save the rebellion. And he lifts that X-Wing up out of the water like he has, and he flies his ass across the universe and shows up and faces off against Kylo Ben. Even if he died there, I think the fans would have been fine. As long as he was there fighting, right? Going, to me, this,
at least give him a reason to be hiding away, other than I'm a sad coward. That sucks, because they didn't just kill him. They killed his character. That's different.
That was their goal.
Correct.
Their goal was to strip him of his character.
Which is what I was saying before, is they could have killed him in the first film and nobody would have had a problem had he just went out like a hero. See, that's the thing. Same problem with Han Solo, right? Like, that's the issue most people took with that, was that whole, bit there. It's like, well, wait a minute.
He's a deadbeat dad. He's a failed.
I was just going to say, he's been a deadbeat dad the whole fucking movie. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's what we see all the time. They take away the moment of heroism. So instead of Han Solo or Luke Skywalker basically becoming martyrs, they're just eliminated.
Exactly. Well, let's keep moving on. We got a lot of super chats here, which is a good problem to have. And we got a few more topics at hand. Grand Wazoo 42 has been here for 38 months. He feels like the show's gone on that long. No, I'm just kidding. Disney did it to themselves, so people went away, and this is a good thing. They don't want to change or course correct. The old fans are not wanted. Good, and away goes the money. Yeah, well, this is the thing we keep hearing, and I don't know if you guys have been hearing any of this stuff too, because I brought it up to Andre. Like, inside Disney, there is some change happening, but Lucasfilm is quadrupling down on this bullshit. Like, I mean, we literally got gay lesbian witches in the shit now, right? Like, we were joking about this stuff a few months ago, because full disclosure, I actually had that photo of Faloni's wife before, but it's on the old computer. Because when they brought in that witch character in one of the shows before, she was brought up. But Google screwed me, and I was rushing through that video, and that's where I screwed up. So, but yeah, we use that to our advantage in the next video.
We have some fun with it.
Yeah.
The reason I think that this will not continue is I don't think that it can. I mean, we're reaching like physics level kind of this can't go on. Mike, how's that Disney stock going? You checked that lately just to see how this whole Acolyte deal's going? You check the Disney stock?
I'm going to have to push back on you and tell you that Bob Iger survived $77 a share.
Can he do it twice? That's like saying the cat was run over by the car. He'll do it again.
Maybe.
Good luck.
Well, I'm sure that he's going to chant that old wartimey song. We did it once and we can do it again. I mean, that's going to be their thing right there, right? So yeah, they'll be able to survive that the second time. But here's like the thing, and this is my worry. Yeah, they have to change, but I don't know that they have the brain thrust needed to make the changes necessary, because the only people that are there right now are the people that destroyed it. Kevin Feige destroyed Marvel. How can he fix it when he was just one small cog in the rise of Marvel? But he was the architect of Marvel's destruction. And the things that killed Marvel were very specifically the things that he did, that he had been blocked from by Ike Perlmutter, by the Marvel Creative Committee. They had all blocked him before, and he forced through anyway the stuff that they had warned him against. And that's when everything went to hell. How can that guy go against everything that is what he wanted to do, everything that he put his legacy on, and just undo that and go back to what smarter people wanted the whole time? He's not changing anything. Case in point, he got what's his face from Picard season 3, whom I'm a big fan of. Metalis, thank you. And what does he do? He sets him on the fucking Vision show. What is Vision? It's another sequel from WandaVision, which is Kevin Feige's baby number one. I mean, WandaVision, that's a Kevin Feige project. It's his basic idea and everything. WandaVision is Kevin Feige through and through. And it has destroyed Phase 4, and it's going to continue to destroy Phase 5, and it's going to continue that storyline in Terry Matalas' Vision. This tells me that even if they have to change anything, it's not going to work, because it's the wrong people doing that change. I mean, they should never revisit WandaVision ever again. And he hired Telly Matalas to do one of his projects instead of doing literally anything else.
Well, do you know why?
Do share.
Because making WandaVision successful is not an indictment of Feige's failure everywhere else. That he does. So let's say, as an example, Terry Matalas comes in, resurrects Iron Man, gives the shield back to
Steve.
Steve
Rogers.
Steve Rogers, and that becomes successful, then Feige's embarrassed. That's the problem. So he can make Vision successful as he wants. It's not an attack on the bad leadership that Feige has provided. We have the same problem with Star Wars, is that the people in charge, not only do they not want to fix it, they don't want to put it into the hands of anyone that would show them how badly they've screwed it up by being successful.
Exactly. And that's why it doesn't matter that they need to fix it. They can't fix it, because it's the same people that, for whatever reason, they don't want to undo what they have done. That's
Correct.
why Kevin Feige is doubling down, hiring Terry Matalas to do Vision.
Correct.
When he should hire Terry Matalas to do literally anything else to move the hell away from the legacy of WandaVision. Because I can tell you exactly what's going to happen with the Vision right now. Because it's Terry Matalas, Vision is probably going to be good, but it's not going to help, because it's still tarred by the legacy of WandaVision, right? That's what happened with Star Trek
and the Marvels.
And all of the Marvels, everything
Yeah.
that has come since WandaVision in the first place. I mean, it's all gone to hell since then. It's like the same thing with Picard. If Terry Matalas had been in charge of that since day one, probably would have been fine. And I know not everyone enjoyed Picard season 3. I enjoyed it tremendously myself. but it didn't really matter, because in the larger scheme of things, Picard Season 3 flopped less than Picard Season 1 and Picard Season 2, but it was still a flop, because the brand was already ruined. And it's going to be the exact same thing with Marvel going forward. He brings in talented people, but he puts them on projects which are doomed from day one just because of their legacy. And the legacy of WandaVision is a legacy of failure.
Well,
I think Blade's the perfect example too. Just look at what's going on there. I don't know if you guys talked about that already.
Not yet, but I don't want to interrupt the flow. But we have a guest joining us, and we actually have something that Grace just said a little bit ago.
Oh boy!
That actually
I got blocked. I got blocked from her this morning.
Just wait till I bring this up. Okay, we got to bring in Yellow Flash first. How you doing, buddy?
Hello.
Hey, greetings.
I am the leader of sexist Star Wars fans.
You are. Okay, so this is sent to me. Let me see. I don't know if I can get to her thing in time, but I'm just going to read this real quick.
Maybe you've been blocked too.
She goes, I understand why some of you are frustrated with Star Wars right now, and by no means trying to tell you your feelings are wrong. I do feel the loudest voices against the Acolyte are taking on hate speech qualities. Okay, sorry, this is really small. And that does not help your cause.
Let me translate real quick, Tom. I did not recognize what the public backlash was going to be. I need to find a way to be the victim here.
It keeps going. It keeps going. There's a bit of our stinger in here. Trust me. As for me, I genuinely like the show. I'm excited for you to see episode 4 on Tuesday. The best of the 4 episodes I saw in advance. So she's only up to the 4 episodes she saw.
Okay, so she's doubled down on episode 4.
Okay, my
That's
videos
all they gave out to the media. I think was 4.
Are meant to be a space for people who do like the show, and those who might not like it but are open to discussing it. So basically, you're not allowed to not like the show unless it's on her terms.
Nobody likes this fucking show, Grace.
I told her that she should paywall her entire channel, and she blocked me.
She goes, "Does Lucasfilm poke the bear? Absolutely, bingo." So that's the proof we've needed. She just confirmed that they do this shit on purpose.
Well, did you watch the Leslie Headland video where she says that R2-D2 is a lesbian? She's like laughing about it. They clearly know what they're doing.
Well, and she uses the oldest joke in the book that 3PO is gay too. It's like, that joke is like so 1980s. Come on.
I think 3PO is kind of gay though.
We all do. That's old. Like I said,
if he was magically turned into a human and he became gay, I would say, well, that makes sense.
Right. Like, let me put it to you this way. If I were to do a gay 3PO joke, that shit's so old and played out, Paul would give me shit for it. You're muted, Paul.
You're still muted, Paul.
My karate is not as good as
This is actually making the joke funny.
Is it a bit now? Is it a bit now? I was going to say, is it a bit now that he's just saying muted?
I know. Sorry. I was going to say that, the C-3PO old tired joke is that it's voiced by a Brit, so they're all gay. I mean,
exactly.
That's true.
It's old. It's an old joke.
Old. I wouldn't even go there.
Exactly. Like I said, you'd give me shit if I did. That was my whole point. Yeah.
But I did get.
That's where
I did get banned for my dick in the mouth joke.
You did.
That's where sexuality, the spectrum thing, comes from. It's British.
And then to sum things up, she also says she gets hate 24/7 for it. So yeah. And she doubles down on the Acolyte being a genuinely good show.
Yeah, right. It's funny because our 2 most recent videos have Grace in the thumbnail. I thought that was going to be it, and now we're going to back off her. But lo and behold, the next video is going to be Grace Center 2. So yeah,
I've earned this shit. I don't care. I'm gonna play it. Where's my song?
Yeah, where's your song?
Well, here's the other version.
She got so excited she almost Vader.
There you go. That's enough of that. What dumb shit did Grace say this week? Well, we'll find out more and more on that.
It's over, evidently.
It isn't even over yet. She's giving us more stuff before the week's out. But yes, thank you again, Grand Wazoo. And he also gifted 10 memberships. Thank you for that. So 10 awesome people out there got memberships. Packing Proton sends in $5. Says, Tom, check your DMs. Just had an odd ghost voice EVP. Sounded like it said fired during the Superman chat. Yeah, I got your link here in a DM. Let me see if I didn't get a chance to really listen to it yet, though. Did you guys want to really hear this, or should we wait till near the end of the show?
Let's
come
wait
back
until
to it.
closer to the end of the
I was
show.
gonna say we got a lot to come. We'll come back around to it. Packing
We're buried
protons.
in super chats.
Yeah, Jason Webster says with all these sequels, remakes, and ripoffs that have been released recently, Hollywood should be renamed Xerox. Yeah, no shit. If you have it, a studio will copy it. No kidding, right? Then we got Chaos Sonic.
Everybody copies something with everything. That's kind of like not a very good point. Just
Right.
saying.
Well, what
Chaos
they're doing
Sonic
now
1.
is they're taking stuff and injecting the agenda into it. We saw that with the most recent Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, obviously Star Wars.
Yeah, kind of like when they made fruity beers. Chaos Sonic 1 sends in $5 and says with the somebody got that at least. Thank you, pro.
You got me off guard a little.
With the backlash, you think Disney will get the hint, but they won't. They're dumb and they will burn. Well, it sounds like some parts of Disney are learning, but Lucasfilm is doubling down if rumors are to be believed. Killshot 666 sends in 5 and says Dave Mustaine wrote most of Metallica's first album. When they booted him, they changed their sound. Dave is a better songwriter than James. This is true as well, at least in some people's opinions. And we do have a Rumble rant that I could not post. It wouldn't let me post it, so I'm gonna have to just read it. It comes from Kulix81. It says, I'm convinced that Hollywood culture is misandrist, anti-white, and heterophobic. See, I wonder why it wouldn't let me post it in YouTube. Just let the movie industry die. It's the only way to fix it. I can live without their shit for a good 20 years or so. Well, you're not wrong. And they kind of are hitting that iceberg at this point, and I think they've realized it. Because almost all the studios have started to course correct. I mean, Bad Boys this last week, I don't know how many people have seen it on the panel here. I mean, that movie itself, I mean, on my critic list score, I had to even kind of give it a slightly right wing score because of some of the things in the film. And it's simply just because it's a pro-family, pro-male, pro-father-son. There's even a scene that people are calling the pro-Second Amendment scene. So there's all these things in it that it's like, normally this would be just a normal movie. But now because of the bullshit that we're mired in, that now it's a completely different situation. Then we got Chaos Sonic 1 who says, for Feige, here's a word of advice. Get rid of the woke poop. Just write them off as tax write-off. It will help you save face and help bring back trust. Well, this is what Andre is basically saying about the MCU films. Yeah.
And I've been saying this ever since the lockdowns, and especially the strikes. Use this as an advantage. Clear the slate of everything. Yeah,
it looked like they might have been doing that with. Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. It looked like they might have been doing that with Daredevil, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. But yeah, we hadn't talked about Blade yet either, and I don't know if that's going to happen. At least not in this form. Because they keep saying that Mahershala Ali is attached to it still, but I'd heard rumors that he walked a little bit ago with the director.
He just moved on to the new Jurassic World.
And he just started working on Jurassic World. Exactly, John.
Oh, did you see the new writer for it has like done all their female focused shit?
Oh, of course.
Oh, of course.
That's the whole agenda that we're talking about, right? They're going through all of this like a washing machine of creatives because they want to do this story about replacing Blade with his daughter.
Yep, they've been wanting that since the start. Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was the exact reason why Wesley Snipes walked, but when I was talking to my bud who's a former writing friend of mine, he would have been on the team that would have come in to work on it if Wesley had been there, and he walked because of they were having, discussions, and they wanted him to play like a Whistler role, and he said no, he wanted to play Blade, and there was all this big argument. And then like 3 or 4 days after that report, Andre, is when they did the thing at Comic-Con or whatever, where they announced Mahershala Ali was going to be playing Blade. It was literally days. It was just like a few days after.
Sometimes oftentimes it is like that. And like for instance, it was the same thing when the new Hulk was hired with what's his name again? What's wrong with me?
Ruffalo or the other one?
Yeah, like Ruffalo was basically told, like, dude, be ready in the morning, and if a car comes to pick you up and take you straight to Comic-Con, you're the new Hulk. And if
that's probably what happened.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's like they're like, we'll announce you to the world literally an hour after you find out. So yeah, that's how it is.
And then we had Mike and Ayers who says Pro needs to share his cocaine. Well, I think that's pixie dust that he's snorting. But
oh no! But I'll tell you this: I can
I'm
sleep
kidding.
next week. I don't need it now.
Has anyone been to a Mark Ruffalo speech at a Comic-Con? Does he
No,
sit
who
up there and
would?
talk about flat stoves and climate change and shit when he's up on the stage?
He
Why
probably does.
wouldn't
I
he?
wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I heard they
Nobody's
just throw him
went
in a
to one
broom closet
Flash.
and
We
he
don't know.
rants.
He's fucking insane, man. I can't stand him.
That guy is so far gone.
Indeed. And then Chaos Sonic 1 says WDW Pro is here. The thing, WDW here is the thing. That's what he's saying. Sorry, he pulled a culture on us. Here's the thing. This is not the first time a new ride crashes day one. Remember Snow White, Minecart, and Star Wars? I do, as I was in one. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean didn't work right away either, but the pirates didn't eat the guests. Sorry, that was a Jurassic Park one.
It's day 11. It's day 11. It still doesn't work. I'm over it.
It's also not a new ride. It's like a skinned
Right.
ride.
They
Like,
broke a
the
ride
ride
that
was-
already existed
yeah.
and ran just fine.
Yeah.
Because they're dumb. They're really,
Yeah.
really, really dumb. They're just dumb.
It's going to turn into Jurassic Park to keep it. Actually, it'll be worse. It'll be more like a Westworld to keep it up. Fucking what's her Tiana we run around trying to kill people. Marks 47 says has been a member for 38 months. Thank you for that. And Samir Sheriff, if I'm saying that right, Samir, that's probably what it is. Samir
Yeah.
Sharif sends in 400. I believe that's Indian was it ruples?
I
Rupees?
believe so. Indian rupees.
Rupees.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rupees. Yes. Thank you for that. Very generous. And then we got MOOSE sending in a $2 super chat. Says, I hope Elon Musk buys Star Wars trademark. Why is he even talking about doing something or hinting at something?
Why would he buy another losing
Yeah.
company?
Because we actually had this question, what was it, Wednesday, I think it was, where basically, like, what would it take for Star Wars to be bought? And the conclusion we came to is, unfortunately, for whoever were to buy it, for them to have to pay as much as what Disney would have to sell it for, it's not worth it anymore. That's the problem.
Right. It would sink the Disney stock because nobody is going to pay what Disney paid anymore because Disney destroyed the brand. So if they sell it, then it would reveal what Disney did to this franchise to investors, not to just people who enjoy entertainment. And then that sinks everything because then investors are going to wonder, okay, well, if this is the new valuation for Star Wars, what's the valuation for Marvel? What's the valuation for Pixar? So they can't sell it. They literally cannot sell it. It's unsellable.
And also, if someone were to buy it, Disney would charge so much for it, it would tank the stock of whoever bought it as well. So the only way that that Star Wars is being bought is that it comes along with the package in an acquisition of the entire Disney corporation. That's how it gets bought.
Yeah, and to be fair, the original question we had was if somebody offered X amount, would Disney have to sell it? And our answer was yes. But we're like, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody to offer that amount. And then Andre did point out that last part as well. Because then if you turn around and pay that much for a sinking ship or a ship that ain't worth it, then your company is going to get tanked.
Exactly. So really, the only thing to hope for here is some kind of shareholder rebellion within Disney, that Nelson Peltz comes back and he wins this time. Really, that's your only hope. That's the only hope here.
And the other thing I keep hearing about Disney, and I'm sure you've heard this too, Pro, and maybe John and others on the panel if you have, is that they are very isolated from the rest of Disney. Like, they are like their own little island. And that's another reason why I guess Kathy gets away with a lot of shit and the other people get away with so much shit behind the scenes there. So that could very well be part of the problem too, is they don't have any oversight.
They also have the volume, and they have like the tech stuff. And I think that probably helps them out a lot on that we don't see on the back end, because they sell all that stuff to the other studios and they rent it out and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's that too. And then we're going to put a pin in a few of these super chats here because we're going to be losing a panelist before too long here. But I wanted to bring this one on because he brought the story to us today. Grand Wazoo 42 sends in €5 and says, beaten by Tubi? Financed by Disney Murdoch. Disney needs to purge like Musk did, but this will not happen. Good luck, Disney. So yeah, we got the news that Tubi is kicking Disney's ass.
Well, there is a purge going on. A lot of them are leaving to go work with Lancaster?
Lassiter?
Yeah, they're going to Lassiter. Yeah, did another
Skydance.
Did another guy leave to go join him recently?
Yes. I
Yeah.
don't know his name, but absolutely another person did just leave in the past week. But this Tubi thing, man, it's a huge story. It's not sexy. It's not Star Wars. It's not the Acolyte. But Fox sold Disney all this stuff, and Disney spent a ton of money on it. Disney spent something like $100 billion so far investing in streaming. They're $30 billion in the hole. And Fox Corp, after they sell all that stuff to Disney, Fox Corp spends $400 million on Tubi, and Tubi's beating Disney Plus. Now you think about that difference in investment, that ROI. Invest $100 billion, and you're getting beat by the same guys who sold you the stuff
for less than half a billion. Yeah,
man,
that's got to sting. And then they still got to come up with the money for a Hulu yet. Sorry.
Yeah, that Fox acquisition. I mean that destroyed Iger's legacy, didn't it? That's the worst thing.
It didn't have to. That's the sad part.
But how?
It could be saving their ass right now. But go ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
I can explain to you how. First, he overpaid for Fox. They overpaid. Why? Pro, help me out here. How much did he overpay just for Fox in the first place?
Well, just think about it this way. What have they done with Fox? That'll tell
That's
you.
the next thing. That's what
I was coming from. But yeah, I think number-wise, I think wasn't it Comcast came in and bumped that up about 20 billion?
I think they overpaid by 10 to 15 billion.
And what's happening with Hulu? Comcast is doing the exact same thing all over again, hosing Bob Iger.
And by buying Fox in the first place, that triggered them having to buy out all of the other Hulu partners. So that you can add maybe another 20 billion to that in a pure loss for just complete ownership of a streaming service they already have control over, that they cannot monetize any further, and that they're going to destroy. So we are now talking about a loss of 30, 40, 50 billion
at least
just on the Fox deal. And it's a pure loss. They haven't been able to monetize it in any way.
They paid 71.3 billion.
They paid 71. Yeah, okay, and they got.
But you add the Hulu.
Yeah, and then add the Hulu to that. That's a total cost of 100 billion, maybe.
Yeah, and that's where I was coming from too. Is they haven't utilized it right? Like they could have simply not done anything but just sit there and release a bunch of the old Fox titles on Blu-ray and 4K, and they would have been better off than what they've been doing.
Or better yet, they not acquire Fox at all.
Well, yes, but I mean, even at that point, they would have been bringing in some income, even if they weren't generating any new stuff from Fox. That's my point. Like, if they were just selling the catalog to streamers and putting out Blu-rays and 4Ks, they would have been better off and at least possibly getting closer and closer out of debt with Fox than what they have done. Because all they have done is made 2 Alien projects that are coming up and a Predator project. That's pretty much it outside of Fox Searchlight and some other smaller bits that have probably been feeding in a
Alien
little bit
Romulus looks pretty good, though. I'm
regardless, they have done nothing with Fox.
I'm curious if that movie will be good, though.
It looks good.
You might say that Avatar
for Star Wars and Avatar. I was just going to say that. What it was all about? Sorry.
You might talk about Avatar. The problem is that Avatar comes with a pre-existing contract with James Cameron where he gets a massive cut. So even if it does fantastic, Disney's still getting a smaller portion they would, with a typical film by far.
Paul, you were going to say something?
FTC allow this buyout?
A lot of people got greased. They had to have. It was not only that, I think it also helped that Disney wasn't owned by a huge communications corporation. Like,
and I'm sure somebody said to them, "Don't worry, they'll destroy it. There's no monopoly threatening it."
And also, Bob Iger, he has his party book in good proper order. So that also
exactly, yeah. There's a lot of those things that lined up perfectly.
You know what? It's so ironic that people who are struggling to find work in Hollywood would go, "Yeah, because we suck Iger's dick, let's let him completely get rid of an entire studio that used to give us work." Like the people in Hollywood are so retarded, captured that they don't understand they should have fought against this buyout.
Well, it could have went one way, and the way it should have went was the Turner way. And for those who don't know, I'm gonna real quickly sum this up.
You're talking about the same people that rallied against AI last summer, and then now they're getting screwed by by AI left and right.
Well,
No,
that's
they're not the smartest, you know.
No.
Yeah, but we got to get Pro out of here too. But real quick, I just wanted to say, like, because the whole thing with Ted Turner when he bought into New Line Cinema, he didn't do anything. All he did was give them money and told them to do more of what they're doing, just do more of it, right? Because he knew what they were up to. It was good. It was a good buy.
New
Exactly
Line
was
is
what
not Fox.
No, I get you. But what Bob should have done is when they bought Fox and this is where I think you and I have had this conversation before, Paul.
Yeah.
Is they shouldn't have changed anything pretty much. Maybe a few people, but otherwise, yeah, you left it alone like it's its own fucking studio. You just pump a little bit more money into it and you synergize. Other than that, you leave it alone. You let it do its thing.
Instead, they fully integrated.
Exactly. But yes, now speaking of things Pro, I know you got to get going. So yeah, it's been Disney-fied, exactly. But
Well,
now,
that's going well for
unfortunately,
everybody.
Disney-fied doesn't even mean kiddied up like it used to or purified like it used to. Now it just means you might see somebody sucking somebody's dick and it's probably going to be another dude.
Yeah, at this point, it means rainbowed up.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Pro, you have to get rolling here. I didn't mean to run you too late
Well,
here.
I do have to get rolling. We're going to get started on recording for the afternoon video again, folks. We're going to be talking more Acolyte Fallout with the Dave Faloni movie now impacted perhaps by this. We're going to be talking about it at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time over on the Pro channel. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you would not mind, I'm not used to plugging things, but I have launched an original music channel, a radio station right here on YouTube, and you can check it out. It's at Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you join in over there, and 60 original songs at launch. By the end of the summer, we plan on having 80 original songs, high quality, and having lots of fun, spreading a little sunshine and good vibes for you. And guess what? The music is not made by people who hate you. So there's a plus. Switch it on in your car with your Bluetooth and have a good time. And I will say, guys, that you have been doing phenomenal work here on Midnight's Edge. I am loving the coverage, and I cannot wait to see another thumbnail graced with grace. So thank you for continuing to copy and paste her right in there.
Put her on my thumbnail too.
Yeah,
She helps.
I gotta add. Yeah, is she as powerful as Kathy? She can't be. There's no way.
I don't even
They
use
throttle her
Kathy anymore.
videos, too.
I use the South Park one.
Yeah, I know. That's what I try to in the videos more often too. Yeah, but thank you,
All
Pro,
right,
for
everybody.
hopping in here. Appreciate
Bye,
it.
Pro.
And I'll
I'll
have to
be
make some
tuning
family-friendly music for your radio station, I guess, huh?
Thank you so much. Yes, Tom, you are incredibly talented. I can't wait to collaborate with you. And folks, don't forget, over on X, do not stop. Do not quit. We still have to bring back the Chato. His jokes aren't that bad. They can stand it. Bring him back.
I just hit Elon up again yesterday when I saw him in Gary's thread or whatever it was the day before. I said, "Why haven't you brought back Chato yet? Get him out of X
He's a
jail."
YouTube refugee now. We will bring you back to the promised land that is X. Hang in there,
if
Chato.
all else fails, he'll be managing the Midnight's Edge in the Morning YouTube channel. So, yeah. Sorry, the Twitter channel.
And as I go, I hope to see Mexican
Thanks,
Iron
man.
OSHA again. Flash, it's been way too long, and John Trent is still the greatest journalist on the web. Everybody take care. I'll be in the audience. See ya.
Hey, buddy.
Bye.
Take care. And does anybody else have to?
I did not include Randolph on my latest video thumbnail, but it's doing well nonetheless. I had a ton of fun with my last video. That was fun. I was loath to do anything with the Acolyte to begin with at all, but it's now turning into just
A gold mine?
so much fun.
You see there, you just got to laugh at it and roll with it.
It's so bad. Yeah, it's fun.
Well,
I want to know how big of a boat that Flash is going to buy off of this Acolyte crap. Come on, Flash. I know we're going to get a new boat. Can we get a Flash boat with a helicopter?
you need the
I would
pad.
never buy a boat. I like to use other people's boats.
All right.
Too much responsibility.
No, boats are expensive, man, because
that's what I mean,
fucking
yeah.
break all the time.
Yeah, too much responsibility.
You know what? You know what the happiest two boats are? The happiest 2 days are for a boat owner.
When you
It's
sell
the
and when
day
you
he
buy.
Buys and sells
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Exactly. It's the day you buy it and the day you sell the damn thing.
Yeah.
I've never even wanted to ever think about buying a boat.
I'd never have one.
They're just too
Anything
much.
more than just a basic boat? Yeah, no, they're kind of a pain in the ass.
Now,
no,
other
no,
people buying them, I'm all for it.
If I can't have a
Overrated.
Larry Ellison sized boat, I don't want it.
Yeah, basically, you got to have this big ass boat where you don't have to worry about it. You got
Nothing.
enough money to.
the biggest yacht in the world.
Exactly. Chaos Sonic 1 sent us a Rumble chant on the Rumble side of things. Says, "Hey Grace, even the furries say Star Wars stinks, and you know they know you fucked up if even the furries hate Star Wars." Yeah, they want Wookiee love. So yeah, that's true.
She's losing subscribers too. Social Blade says she's lost 1,000 in the last 30 days.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I mean, at this point, how many people just kind of watch her just waiting for her to say something stupid? I mean, she doesn't hide it anymore that she's a shill.
Right.
I mean, Drake Timbershaft sends in $9.99 and says, Yas, the sound Wesbian just make when you do the horizontal rumba to make the Twin Saint Invaders. Did you see they released that fucking song as a single?
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought it was a joke.
That's the whole thing. That's the show is all about. They've got like immediately after they did their space cookies or their spice cookies, they have like the rest.
Oh, the drug cookies.
The drug cookies. Yeah, they have all of that. And now
spice is the drug in the Star Wars universe. What kind of a fucking? Well, maybe they did that on purpose.
Yeah,
you know. So I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to call their behavior anymore because I think they're doing all this shit on purpose.
So yeah, if you want to listen to the chanting witches over and over and over again.
Oh, that song is so bad.
Well, I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but I rewatched A New Hope the other day just for fun, and the music is so important in it. And then in my process of doing the mystery of the dead space witch beings video, which was a ton of fun to do, I listened to the accompanying themes and music. It's pedestrian. There's probably a million kids out there who could have done a better job. The music is horrible in the Acolyte. Like there's no themes. There's nothing to the music.
And where were you, Fiona, the other day when Paul needed you? This one's even better than the Witches of Nitwit.
Oh,
don't even say that.
And I'm not going to say it out loud, but the best part is that I'm pretty sure Princess Fiona is of the female persuasion. So boom, baby. That makes it even better. Sorry for those who are just listening. We're not saying that out loud.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of R-rated, Packing Proton sends in $2 and says Faloni thinks an R-rated Star Wars story is possible, and this is why.
He's an idiot.
Is why you fail.
It's not necessary.
Well, not just that, it's not what it's built upon. The whole idea of what Star Wars is that it's based upon the serials that George Lucas watched when he was a kid.
But even
you would never have an R-rated serial like that. That's my point. Anyway.
Well, while that's true, this shows the creative bankruptcy in that there's a billion stories out there that they've avoided, and then this is what he comes up with. That's the problem.
Desperation, exactly. Yeah.
So I will just kind of do a little bit of pushback. I listened to that whole interview that he did with Horowitz, and it's Horowitz actually brings it up. He's the one who asks the question, and Filoni like kind of says, "Well, there's lots of stories that we could possibly do, and we have to like talk about it." And he just kind of really like flip, like I don't know. He gives like a non-answer in my opinion.
All right,
but it was definitely like
fair.
Created for a soundbite.
That's fair. Then we got C-Man here who sends in 10 and says Echo Base had a good vibe about the satanic connections.
Thank you.
Video, not vibe. I don't know where I even got that from. It boggles the mind that the family company Disney is now pushing this. By the way, stock is below $100 again and headed lower. Yeah, we brought the stock up on stream. And yeah, I've been bringing this up
to
too.
Focus on this kind of stuff. You haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, no, they've been bringing this in for a while, and it's not just in Star Wars; it's all other places
everywhere.
too.
It's in their parks. It's in Marvel.
Well, and I was talking about beyond that, like you got just other, musicians and stuff that are doing it like that. What's his face? That weirdo.
Yeah, with the blood in his sneakers or whatever.
Yeah, and all
a lot
that
of
shit.
Black magic, dark ritual shit going on. That's not new.
I've seen Rosemary's Baby. I know where this shit leads. Brandon, the anime guy, sent in $5 and says Disney is forever going to be known as the Duck Nuts Corporation or Dick Nuts Corporation. Duck Nuts works too. They will burn the whole thing down. I'm good with it. They can own it forever. Well, it'll come back. It's just going to need somebody new to take it on who's not a complete and fucking moron or a weatherman. That's pretty much it. Dark King says, so the censors are out in force and can't send my thoughts through this. Time for a Rumble rant. Yes, and I think we got your Rumble rant if that was the one before. That's probably why it wouldn't let me post it here. Chaos Sonic 1 sends in 5 and says, Grace will have the ovaries to claim that the 55% are bots and they will never leave her. And they will leave her. Yeah, well, that's her own fault if she does that. Miguel Farah sends in 2,500 Chilean pesos, I believe that is. Says, we all hate Rey, deservedly so. With that said, Daisy Ridley deserves to be in a good Star Wars movie playing a different character. Yeah, but at this point...
a good Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Do you think that's possible? I mean, I'm not even holding out hope for the Mando movie. Packing Proton sends in $5. Says, Charmine, the toilet paper director, hasn't been heard from since that interview. Oh, really?
I hope they
Yeah.
bring back
January
Lizzo. I hope they bring back Lizzo for the Mandalorian movie.
With Jack Black.
Let's
Yeah.
get her back in there. I mean, just bring her back. She's got a big enough presence. Just bring her back. Let her be like kind of the, you know, how they have someone that gives the missions. Let her be
That third
person.
season just feels like Faloni just threw his hands up in the air and let those queerdos do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah, just like he did again with the Acolyte.
Well, I don't think I don't think he's even remotely. Is his name even on there as an executive producer?
Well, they're out
You
there.
don't think he has
His
anything to do with
mentorship.
Are you talking about Favreau or Filoni?
Did I say Faloni? I meant Favreau. Sorry.
Yeah.
Filoni is
Yeah.
who I'm talking about. He's
Yeah,
the mentor.
no, I'm sorry. I meant Favreau. That was my. Well, yeah, Favreau was also supposed to be like the one doing the Mando. I meant with my whole point about season 3 is Favreau just probably said fuck it and let them guys do whatever the hell they
Probably.
wanted at that point. That's what it feels like. It feels like everything just went out the window. That was the point I
Bottom
was trying
line
to make,
is
sorry.
no one gives a flying fuck.
Basically, you're right. And then
what happens?
And then Jalo just sends in 14 South African Rand, says Pro issues the reboot you wars about. Oh shit. I'm sorry, I didn't get this before Pro left. He asked if this is the reboot he warned us about. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out for his report. I don't think he would have told us anyway, but he also says #snap Disney Star Wars. All right. Then Goku McDuck says, Mike, guys, you think you can get Astro Ricardo?
So he's a Spanish. He's like a very popular, big time YouTuber in Spanish. I watch him all the time. He's basically like the Spanish speaking version of Andre. I'd have to talk to Andre about.
So it might be something cool for an Espanol crossover kind of event, maybe.
I mean, maybe. But maybe. I don't know. I'd have to talk about with Andre.
Yeah.
All right. Packing Proton says, can we get Mike's interpretation of that witch laugh?
Oh, in the background.
She does it twice in the show.
That sounded like a proper horse right there. But yeah.
How do you do?
It works for me. Somebody's going to clip that. SFXF314 Sabretooth Raptor sent in 5 says, my favorite Ewing Elf Cannon Pilot Mexican Iron Man. Happy smurfing. Always glad to listen to you. So
can I just get one fucking show that someone doesn't mention fucking Alf? Just one fucking show.
I haven't mentioned Zack Snyder yet.
You just did.
Well, we talked about him before you got here.
Yeah, you're talking about
Watchman. I do love that the lightsaber that Alf is sporting is actually on and lighting up the room.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love seeing that Alf with
He's
the
ready for
lightsaber in
battle.
the background. It always makes my day. Makes me so happy.
What amazed me with the Acolyte was they had the keep, but they had no factory for female hygiene products.
The Hoover Dam. It's the Hoover Dam.
Right. And I thought when they mentioned the thread, I thought they were thinking of tampons.
This is what Martin Lawrence got kicked off SNL for. Wash your ass.
Yeah, I almost bought an Elf comic book cover the other day. Iron Man. I tried to.
like
Got
Elf.
outbid. It's this one here. I'll show you.
But while you're looking for that,
here
you got it already? Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I remember you shared that one. Yeah.
You can get this for like $80 if you try. It's like a controversial cover. I wonder why.
Yeah, I can imagine why. It's
I
all
like
new and
controversial
fresh
stuff.
Oh, Elf was always a little risque. Especially if you see the outtakes, man. He was, yeah. Chaos Sonic 1 says, reject Disney, embrace good anime and takusatsu. Is that how I say that, Yellow Flash? Or Paul? Takusatsu?
Tokusatsu.
You are muted again. Ruby Hoove gifted a membership, another membership. Well, thank you. Captain Cisco is here and sends in 5 and says, you guys always talk about Grace Randolph, but what about John Campea? He actually believes everyone is racist, sexist, who doesn't like new Disney movies. Well, Campea is kind of old news.
Him too. I mean, Paul Chandler knows who he is because of us. What do you want to do, Captain Cisco? You want to head on over to Midnight's Edge Live Archives and just look for Campea there, because there we have a couple of good clips about us talking about John Campea when he really screwed up and he really told his fans to bent.
The pool video.
The pool video.
Yeah, exactly. That and a few others. So yeah,
that was almost up there with Britney Spears dancing with knives.
The only thing that was worse was when he let Robert Meyer Burnett go before he had to hire him back again, because his audience are really only there for Robert Meyer Burnett.
Then Dr. Long Dongler sends us in a super sticker for $1.99. I bet you it's a thumbs up to remind you to hit that thumbs up. Thank you for that. We got Pablo Papano sending in $5, says, isn't Dave Filoni a fruit? Satan worshippers in Hollywood, what? No, he's got a wife, but yeah.
A lot of gay men have wives.
That's true. Jason Webster says, Leslie, this is Star Wars, not fucking Witches of Eastwick or Hocus Pocus. Do you see friggin' Michelle Pfeiffer or Bette Midler anywhere on the set? Yeah, no shit. Nostradamus sends in $10 and says, my coworker is a normie Star Wars fan. I've talked with him about Star Wars since Mando season 1 after Acolyte episode 3. He told me he's over Star Wars, says it's just stupid anymore. Yeah, I think a lot of people are having that.
This is the show I've seen more people saying that about this show than I've ever seen before when it comes to Star Wars fandom. I think you're going to see a lot of people walk away.
I think it broke a lot of the fans. It's kind of I've been comparing it to Velma. Because even some of the shows, well, it's just the other stuff they can put up with to a point, but like when you get to this point where it's so blatant, right? You know, like, I mean, that's where I think it's gotten to a point where it was kind of like where when I had my epiphany of like where like the left me when I realized that it's like when they start saying the shit that they were claiming that they weren't doing all this time. It's the same thing here, I think. So without getting too into it.
I have to leave. Oh, I didn't know whether you're able to share this before I go.
Go ahead.
But
nice.
Oh wow.
This is what I was in today. I'll zip through it.
And you didn't get out there on the wing and do a dance?
No. Look at this thing.
That's super cool.
That's cool.
There's the pilot behind me.
Hell no, you'd never get me in one of these things.
Me neither.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. Just oh wow.
Total NASA.
Dun, 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 dun,
He thinks he's Tom fucking Cruise right now.
Yeah. And then he pulled some of this stunt shit on me.
Nah, this is where you pissed your pants,
my
right?
Stomach went into my throat there.
Oh, did he do a barrel roll?
No, not quite. But it's anyways. So there you go.
I love how you got the shutter speed there, really almost perfect.
Well, yeah, it's weird. The 30th of a second, but you know, again,
it's a good job though.
I wanted to get as much. The GoPro batteries don't last a long time, so if you do 60th of a second, then it eats through it. So
yeah.
So thanks for having me, and wonderful.
Of course, thanks for stopping by. We didn't expect you.
It's always nice. It's a really real thrill to see all you guys, and yeah, let's have fun. I'm going to post this video on my channel on Monday, but Tuesday, I guess. Does anyone know what's in store for the Acolyte on? Is that when May kills the Wookiee?
I think the Wookiee is going to correct people on pronouns, is what I've heard.
Yeah, we don't know whether it's a male or female.
Yeah,
although
that's true.
You know,
so basically, so it's a Wookiee that's going to say that it identifies as a they them, and you better get it right.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to see the theories of what happened on did the witches actually die at their own hands, at May's hands, and or whatever. I asked my peeps to come up with theories as to just how it had happened, and then they sent it to me, and I put it on a video called "The Mystery of the Dead," the mystery of the dead space witch beings, and so I had fun with that. So please watch the video, support the channel, and support everybody else's channel here, because we're having a lot of fun right now at the expense of Disney, and I think more people are watching us than their actual show. I think our numbers are probably spectacular.
I agree.
You're not wrong, probably. Take care, Paul. We love you.
See you, everyone. Bye.
Have a good one.
Did you guys talk about Gina Carrano?
We're about to get there, actually. We wanted to get to it earlier when Pro was here, but we hadn't got a chance to yet. But I just saw this, just for those who wanted to know. We're getting another remake, Officer and a Gentleman with Miles Teller.
Oh, it's a gay version.
Probably.
Excellent.
But yeah, since you brought it up, you guys want to talk about Gina for a little bit? Because this has been a whirlwind of the last few days, because the media jumped the gun a little bit for once in her favor, but regardless, because she had to come out and correct the Daily Wire and Hollywood Reporter, I believe it was. Was it Hollywood Reporter or was it one of the other ones? Either way. So yeah, they're still
Headlines usually
considering
more favorable to her.
Was it? I think it was THR. Whoever everybody was sourcing it from was my point, though, because they had kind of worded it in a way that it made it sound like the judge had already made a decision, and is it a she or he? I don't know. They hadn't made a decision.
I believe it's a she.
I thought it was a she too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she hasn't technically made a decision yet, but what she had said had led people to believe that she was probably going to lean into Discovery having to come into play before this gets tossed out, because that was kind of the way she worded it. So yeah, it's looking good, but we don't know for sure yet what's going to happen. But that's kind of where we're at right now.
Sounds like Discovery is going to happen, which Disney does not want. We're going to see a lot of dirty laundry come out. I'm very excited. Very excited for this. Can't wait to see those Kathleen Kennedy emails.
Okay, but then Yellow Flash, can we get a boat?
You buy one and I'll come ride on it.
No, I need your money to get the boat.
My money's tied up in artists and
comic books.
All right,
stuff
fine.
like that.
All right, I'll buy the boat. We'll do it here in Hilton Head. I'll
just get a big yellow boat.
I'm about to pay the qual for a page right now, actually.
Be like, I wonder who could own that boat. It's a big yellow boat. No. But yeah, so yeah, this is definitely not going to be good for Disney. This is exactly what they didn't want, because this is going to get all the information out there that Gina wants out there. She was talking a little bit about that with Russell Brand, because all the emails and stuff that she has, as Drunk 3PO had hinted at way back when this first kicked off. So she's got an email trail, and I'm sure texts and other stuff to go with. And yeah, they're going to have to demand and fork over anything that has to do with this case now in the discovery process. Basically, is what happens if it goes to that point. Let's hedge it with that to be clear. But it does, as you pointed out, Yellow Flash, sound like the judge is leaning towards not throwing out this case before discovery happens. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody else has any more comments. John, I'm sure you have an interesting take on what could happen here, or what this could mean.
I'll be honest, I haven't really been paying attention to it all that much, just because there hadn't been news yet. And there's been a ton of video game stuff that I've been covering. But I do see this Hollywood Reporter article here. So, and Gina seemed to be pretty positive when she did her post, like saying she had just walked out of the court, and she seemed pretty positive on how that went. So it looks like I would think it would be move forward. I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be. We've been seeing a lot of court cases that have kind of been going against a lot of the DEI woke agenda. Saw one in New York with a bunch of teachers. I think it was the city or the state had to like settle because they fired them basically for being white. And then there was something that the appeals court just confirmed, a lower district court ruling as well, that this venture capitalist company, Fearless Fund, was not able to run a contest where they were specifically just allowing Black women to enter. And they basically have to open it up to all kinds of different events now. So And then obviously there's the Supreme Court ruling with the Harvard
Right.
lawsuit and stuff like that. So there's like tons of cases, and they all seem to be going in favor of the anti-woke.
As well they should, because the woke
Yes.
are blatantly breaking the law.
Yes. It just took years to get it through the court system. So, but it's good to see, and I have high hopes that Gina will be able to get into discovery.
Yeah, and I think that's what she wants anyway. I think that she wants that more than anything else at this point, because, I mean, really, at the end of the day, sure, money's going to be fine and fun, and maybe getting back onto Star Wars, which is a slight possibility because that's part of what she's asking for. But and we've heard rumors that Favreau kind of wants her for the Mando movie, but we're not going to get our hopes up too high on that. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I think it's the principle of the matter that matters to her. She wants her story told. She wants the truth out there. I believe that she's got a mountain of evidence that shows they were basically treating her this way that she's claiming. And not only that, I mean, you have a company that's trying to claim freedom of speech in one case that was just recently dropped in Florida on the Reedy Creek situation, when they're trying to fight against somebody who's basically got their own freedom of speech, right? An individual.
Their whole argument that they made, according to that article I was reading, was that they have a right not to associate with people that are going to turn away fans of the product. And it's what a joke, because Pedro Pascal posted that Nazi meme. You don't think that turns fans away, you stupid fuck?
That's exactly it.
They're going to get their foot in their mouth, and I'm here for it, man. I am
right.
here.
So they already admitted that they fired her for her politics. I think they admitted that in there,
and that's where they screwed up
and things like that. But I think what their real argument is, Yellow Flash, is that they think that California law is illegal, and they're going to try and challenge it because the California law protects people based on their political opinions. And I think that's what they're really trying to challenge. At least that's what it looked like when I was reading all their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They just don't want. Yeah. No, you're 100% right.
Which is hilarious because that law was put in place to protect communists.
Because the sad part for Disney is that they could have avoided this whole thing had they just kept their mouth shut. Because yes, they were well within their rights to fire her, but they didn't. They publicly owned this shit. Plus, like what John just said, that even in their whole claim that yes, they technically do have that right. But then as you just pointed out, Flash, well, what about the fact that there's all these other people out there saying similar things, but just because they're on the left, that's okay? And not only that, she has another ace in her pocket because of that, because all these other people are men, and she's the only woman who got fired over it.
And that's the gist of her claim, is that it's
discriminatory
based on sex too. Yeah.
So she's got, basically going to turn all this shit around on him. And that's what I think is so brilliant about this whole case, because Disney could have got away with murder, basically, had they just kept their mouth shut, not renewed her contract, and not said anything or owned anything publicly.
It's kind of similar to what they did in Florida, right? They were the ones who chose to publicly go after Ron DeSantis and the state of Florida and oppose that law. And they ended up just...
And that's why I brought it up, John, because honestly, her lawyers would be smart to bring that into the point. I don't know if they can. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I mean, I would think that's a valid argument to be made. It's like, well, how can they claim the same thing over here, there? And you're right. Like they did they basically Streisanded themselves into that whole thing is what they did. And they kind of did the same thing here.
Well, in the case of Florida, it's even more dramatic than that.
Right.
And, Tom, I did 2.5 hours with Andrew the other night on this issue alone. And what happened with there in Florida is even more hypocritical, going along the lines of what Flash was talking about, is that not only did they drop the case, but they've now also donated to both sides of the political spectrum, including the ones that were staunchly against this bill, the parental rights bill in Florida, and have just recently gotten their development agreement approved so that they can build some office space and committed to spend $8 billion in Florida. So I'm not sure how you can't call a company like Disney hypocritical when 1 year they say they're fighting for their First Amendment rights to be able to oppose DeSantis in the entire state on something that has to do with minors and sex ed. Then not just 12 months later, you're signing an agreement with the new Central Florida Tourist Oversight Board for $8 billion that you promise you're going to spend no less than half of that in the next 10 years. Yeah, hypocritical. This company's full of horse shit.
Yeah, and I'm not a lawyer again, but I don't see this case going very
I was
well
a
for them.
YouTuber.
It's
I
their
make
own
videos
fault.
so I could buy a boat so me and Flash could.
Yeah, that's right.
Invite go gator hunting. So yeah.
Yeah, go gator hunting and maybe find a baby Bigfoot that culture failed to find for me. Because I keep telling him they're not that hard.
Did he find a Yeti though?
No, he said they're too hard to catch. I think he's full of shit because I keep telling him baby big feet are not hard to catch because their feet are too big for their bodies, so they can't run very fast. But he's just lazy. But anyway, yeah, no, I think that Gina's got a good case here, and mainly just because Disney put their foot in their mouths. I think you guys are right. Yeah, at least that's my opinion on the matter. Anybody else?
I think we covered that pretty thoroughly for a case that is still in progress.
Yeah, like unfortunately, it was something that kind of blew up, but she had to put a pin in it yesterday afternoon because she reposted the Daily Wire article and said this is not accurate. Please correct
Daily
it.
Wire deleted it too.
Yeah, and they did, and sadly for them, and that's what I was getting at earlier, John, is they were pulling most of their information, I believe, from the THR article. So yeah,
Okay.
which actually kind of was ambiguous in how it was written.
She did retweet the Hollywood Reporter article. So.
Oh, I missed that one then. That was my fault.
Yeah.
I just figured since she was friendly with the Daily Wire, she just pointed it out, and I knew they would adhere to it or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, let's move along. Here we got Tipping Barn who says Mexican iron OSHA, boil, toil, and stubble. Where's your bubbling brew? Thank you, Tipping Barn. There you go. There's your bubbling brew. Lester Sanho. Oh, go ahead.
I'll just give a final word here because this is from the the Hollywood Reporter article.
Oh, sure.
The judge, her name is Judge Garnett. She says, I'm not convinced there are no disputed facts. So that indicates, I think, that it's going to go forward. So.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody's kind of running
fair.
with, but she hasn't made her actual final decision yet. This is what Gina was saying.
Right, because she was probably just hearing the arguments and everything.
Right. Lester San Jose, the skeptic tank, sends in $5 and says, amid the inclusivity efforts as a Hispano-Asian American, well, that's a heck of a mix. American, I feel excluded and my pop culture sensibilities are endangered. Should I be listed?
No. If you're Mexican, you need to go back to the drywall and landscaping from which you come. If you're Filipino, go back to the call center from which you originated. Thank you. Thank you. Move along. Thank you, Lester.
And that is Mexican Iron Man for you. He
can't say this channel doesn't have
I
any,
can't say that shit, but he can.
Yeah, I'm glad it came from you.
Exactly.
I bring all the racism and patriarchy that this channel needs.
And then we got S. Stanley, who's become a member. Thank you so much for that. We got Admiral T, who's become a member. Thank you for that. D-Bud has been here for 37 months, and he's also swinging that wrench around, so watch your heads. Waltman4 sends in $4.99, says, so let me get this straight. The judge decided before they toss Gina's case, they still want to go through discovery first before tossing it. Okay, so my understanding, and again, I'm not a lawyer, and unless anybody else on the panel knows better than me, please chime in here. Like, this is a process. So, like, there still is a point where the judge can decide, I guess, if once they get into discovery that Gina has no case and it could get tossed out. That's my understanding. So until that point, and then they will decide if it goes to trial after some discovery, is my understanding. Does anybody else understand that any differently? Or I know we did try to get Andrew here this morning, but with time zones, yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. And even if she loses, discovery is a L for Disney.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying from the start. Exactly. Yeah.
She can walk away feeling good because that's a huge blow to them. No company wants their dirty shit out there.
Like the Joker says, it's not about the money; it's about sending a message.
Like I could almost see them trying to settle before it goes to discovery. Because nobody wants to go through that shit.
I speculated that too. Because they'll try
to. Probably won't include her coming back to Star Wars, but it will include a large sum of cash.
It will, but you know what? The beauty of it is she has said that she will not do it for any less than what she's asking for. And coming back to Star Wars is part of what she's asking for.
We'll see what happens.
I think she did that on purpose.
If she were,
that's also just California law requires that too. It's part of the California statute.
There you go.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things she won't budge on either. But we'll have to wait and see how this rolls out. Because again, I think you're right, Flash. This has very, very little to do with, actually having, to win a court case than it is to actually just getting the information out there and discover. Because she'll win in the court of public opinion then, at that point.
She has most of the public opinion too, though. But it would justify her.
Exactly.
People.
Or not justify her, but at least
it also
justify what she's doing.
It's the Johnny Depp case all over again, right? Get it out there.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
She'll get to say I was right.
And then we got Wraith X7 or Wraith Times 7 sends in 5 and says, instead of trying to turn Star Wars Marvel into girl brands, Disney should push shows like Renegade Nell, which features flawed heroic female lead. Well, they used to know how to do original content.
I was looking at the there's over on Cosmic Book News, they posted an article where they have this graph, and women seem to enjoy, out of everything that's been done, Agent Carter the most, which I thought was interesting, and The Mandalorian. I was like the two.
I can see why.
For them.
Well, and women, like girls.
Agent Carter was an old ABC.
Yeah,
I know.
They were taking everything that there was. Here, I'll link it in the chat.
But see, that's the thing is, they treated her then differently than they would have if they made the show now. But I mean, girls and boys, they react to things differently. We brought this up before too. So I mean, even adults do. I mean, and this is a point Andre's made several times over, and he proved with his, looking into the whole Charlie's Angels thing and stuff like that. And what he did is he found out that more women went to see Rambo than went to see Charlie's Angels. So even though we were getting bitched out for men not going to see Charlie's Angels, it's like, well, neither did the women.
Yeah.
And we saw the same thing with Furiosa, only worse.
And then we are talking about the feminist makeover Charlie's Angels, not the original Charlie's Angels, but the other one from a couple of years ago.
Elizabeth Banks.
That's
I put it in the private chat. If you want to take a look.
She was blaming men before the movie even hit theaters.
Yep, that's the one. And then afterwards, she blamed the marketing for promoting the movie as a feminist manifesto, even though she blatantly did that herself prior to it being released.
The only thing I will give a caveat there is that maybe the marketing people told her to do that, but still, like she did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we talking about Charlie's Angels?
Yeah.
It gave us the greatest meme of all time. Yeah. Where it said, white straight men, this isn't for you. And then a month later, why aren't white straight men watching this?
See it? Yeah.
I think it was from the same outfit, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the irony was that it was the women that didn't go see it. They went to see Rambo instead.
Which brings us full circle to Furiosa, right? Because that was the whole point, was that they've lost, 73% of the female? 80% you found out now. Yeah, because it kept going up and up and up. Initially, when I first saw the demos, it was around 33%. And then the more it has come out. So basically, the way it worked, what I'm talking about is the original, when Fury Road came out, the audience split was 60-40 men, women. Now, of that 40% that went to see Furiosa, over 80% of them did not come back for Fury Road, did not come back for Furiosa, was what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
So I did an actual calculation where I looked at, because you can see the actual ticket sales.
I think it was your report.
I did that based on the percentages of the audience that they said were male and female. And you could then I just kind of did that based on the ticket sales numbers. And then it was an 80% difference in the number of tickets purchased by women than
it was your story I sent to Andre. You're right, John. Thank you for that. Because when I first saw it, I'm like 33%. Okay, that's a lot. And then when I saw your calculation, I'm like, check this shit out. So yeah, I'm sorry we hadn't given you credit for that, but yeah, I totally spaced that out. That was your report.
Well, we did that in the video though.
We did in the video, of course.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Thing is, that's a great report too, because you're right. You're 100% right. These things are turning the female audience away. That was the whole point I was getting to initially. And I can imagine it's the same thing with little girls situations, is because there's a reason why they like Barbie, is because Barbie, you can project yourself into it. You can be anything you want with Barbie. That's the whole, that's the whole tagline, right? But with boys, they play with toys differently. They get into like G.I. Joe. They get into whatever. They want to know everything there is to know about G.I. Joe, right? They want to, when it's Ninja Turtles, that was the whole thing. I want to know everything there was to know about Ninja Turtles. You know, so I knew how to be one of the Ninja Turtles. You know, boys are like that. Girls, on the other hand, they want to project whatever it is they want to be into whatever they're playing and doing. And that's why the Disney Princess brand worked so well, because their female characters were not bland, but you were able to project yourself into most of them most of the time, especially the earlier ones, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, somebody's mowing lawn and Sadie's freaking out.
Yeah. But let's move along here.
As I've been trying to do, yes. Sorry. DCB Titan sends in 2 Canadian. That's a toonie. And says, wait, C-3PO is not gay? We don't know. The jury's out on that yet.
He's a robot. He doesn't have a sexuality.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if he became a human, if he did, like, if some magic I mean, lesbians can have kids now in Star Wars, so they could probably turn a robot human eventually. If C-3PO became a human, he would get a sexuality, and he would probably be gay.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at this point, though, they've kind of made it canon that robots are sexual beings.
Yeah, because they have
Disney
the
Star
Solo
Wars
stuff with Lando and the sexual weirdo garbage.
Yeah, I forgot about that robot.
She makes it work.
With the robot rights one.
It's literally the ship now. They turned her into the ship too. Remember, she's the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, baby.
I've only watched that movie one time. I'll never watch it again.
I hated that.
Bad.
And that's what I hate.
Pieces of shit I've ever seen.
You know what, Flash? I love to hear you say that, because that is a movie where every time I turn around, somebody's like, you know what? That Solo movie wasn't as bad as everybody said it was. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That movie's a piece of shit. That movie really.
The best part of the movie was when the robot gets killed. Everyone's cheering.
Well, they cucked him at the end, like Solo's on the ground about to get killed, then out of nowhere Daenerys Targaryen comes, forgot about me, and saves the day. This isn't her movie. Why is Solo bitched out on the ground and she comes in and fights him and wins? That's not what's supposed to happen in a movie called Solo.
It's exactly what we're talking about with Luke, though. They take away the heroic moments. They refuse to allow Luke to even be a martyr. They turned him into a wallowing, depressed loser, and they do the same thing here. They have these women come in and steal the heroic moments from the male.
You're misinterpreting the title, Flash. It's not about him. He didn't even have the name Solo until that dude gave it to him, because he was all by himself. She saved him Solo, so that's why it's called Solo. Like, no, that's the other thing that pissed me off. His name, the Chewie stuff, and then he goes through the exact same arc that he goes through in Star Wars. I'm like, so what the hell was the point of all that? And then they have this stupid bit where he jump starts the rebellion by giving away his money. It's like, okay, you've done every anti Han Solo thing you can do.
Yeah, that Han Solo wouldn't have given up the money.
No, it's like, why is you making him he's going through the same arc he did in Star Wars. I'm like, he
never really changed until he got cussed out by Leia.
Exactly. Thank you, Flash. That's my point. Because I'm like, through the whole point of him and Solo being the way he is, and because he's leaving when they're about to go to the Death Star, he's like, I'm not going to put my ass on the line, because he's like, that's the kind of guy Solo is, until he turns around and has a change of heart and comes back and helps Luke, right? Like that's the whole thing, I mean, to have him have that exact same arc in Solo makes absolutely no sense. So you're telling me in the 10 years in Tyrium, he turned into a crusty old bastard again, or what?
The whole reason why he has a bad rep with Jabba is because he literally dropped his stuff so he wouldn't get captured by the Imperials.
Yeah.
He abandoned it. Like, that's in the movie.
Yeah, he even says that. Yeah, you're right. It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I'm just like watching this movie. And then what they turned the Kessel Run into, because that's not even remotely what I thought the Kessel Run would be. And that makes absolutely no sense. Why you would put that shit on a train when you have spaceships and other things that fly. Like, what a very volatile thing. Let's put it on one of the most shakiest fucking things in the world. Let's do that. Anyway, Glade Ribbon says Art Twitter is deeply entrenched in Alphabet Brigade, and even they aren't talking about the Acolyte, and Pride is very toned down this year too. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Is this kind of like the Velma of Star Wars? We've gotten to the point where they're like, even the woke are like, whoa, okay, now you've gone too far. Right? Because remember how they reacted to Velma? But yeah, same kind of thing here I'm seeing, because even some of the shills are coming out going, yeah, this just sucks.
Except for Grace.
Yeah. Except for Grace. Well, that's because the paycheck cleared. And that's the other thing, how I love that article. I don't know if you caught that in the editing, Andre, because you brought up, how they're talking about how anybody who's pro Star Wars or a critic who's gives it a good review is automatically a shill. Well, yeah, we know what y'all are worth. $50. $50 buys a good review.
This is something we have covered before. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I
that's
charge
how
a hell
much
of
a
a lot more than
mainstream
that.
journalist's integrity costs. $50.
You'd have to pay me a hell of a lot more than that for a good review.
Yeah, for this shit.
Especially for this shit. Yes. But yeah. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
What I
That
find
they're
is
even rejecting it.
they're doing it. I mean, like I said, Grace is like losing people. These people are going to lose people because they're going to realize that they've just been lying to them the entire time because people recognize garbage when they see it. I think.
Well, they've
and a lot of
admitted
people are
this
seeing it
for
now, too.
years. I always
Oh
like to
yeah,
play that
Sci-Fi
sci-fi
guy.
wire clip
Yep.
where he's
Yep.
like, yeah, some of us, you know, you got to pick your battles, and you know, everybody in mainstream access media plays ball to an extent. So you just admit that you lie about your reviews. Cool. No.
Yep. And then we just had a recent one too, The Verge, Ash Parrish woman with the video game stuff, literally admitting that she doesn't include like the actual facts and the truth, so she can push the narrative.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I covered it with like the Sweet Baby stuff, like in March.
Oh, maybe I
This
just
guy
forgot about it.
guy basically DM'd her and like leaked all the DMs where she like admits that she refused to cover Chris Kindred actually trying to destroy.
Oh yeah, now I remember that. Yeah.
Cabritas.
Old Chris Kindred.
Yeah.
And then John Gibson says, I'm waiting for Wanda to show up in Acolyte. Like WandaVision Wanda, or like
Probably. She's a witch, so she might show up there.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. And then Jesus
Like
to be
shit,
like,
though.
yeah, that's true. Well, Iron Dick, but yeah. Or whatever the hell he's made out of. The same kind of shit that
Synthetic humans. I don't know.
yeah, no, well, he's like supposed to be made out of the same metal that Tony uses, ain't it?
Yeah, but I think it's more like synthetic human feeling.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I
okay.
don't know. I'm not a massive vision
She
guy.
warms it up a little bit with her mouth before she puts it in, I heard. So
just put him in a microwave, warm him up for a minute.
oh god.
Probably
You're
do
nasty.
that.
Forgets who he is. There's a whole episode there. Microwaves make him forget who he is. Anyway, thank you, Jesus Davila, for the membership gift. We appreciate that. Ben Wade, nice gunslinger. Here's one for you, Andre.
Yeah, certainly. The Acolyte has proven to be a Frankensteinian abomination. It really has.
It's been a while since you've used that word.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a
Let's
while.
bring it back.
Yeah.
But don't we have some stuff that might be useful for that at some point here, like Frankenstein related or something? I know we got some Dracula stuff coming up in Nosferatu, but yeah.
I'd rather make videos.
Yeah. Battery Acid Popsicle sends in another $6.66. I see what you did there. It says, in the current environment, maybe they could mix Snipes' character from Blade and Tu Wong Fu. Oh, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. He's the only one in that movie that I didn't buy was a cross dresser at that time, a trans person or whatever you want to call it. But John Leguizamo and Patrick Swayze, they did a good job in that movie. Wesley
John
on the other hand,
Leguizamo's out there again being a bitch.
oh, he always has been a bitch. But
What has he done this time?
Something I don't remember. I just remember thinking, what a bitch when I looked at the article. He's out protesting for something again. Something woke shit. He's looking for a job is what he's looking for.
So he has to signal his virtue then to show that he's down with the cause. And then
He's
he'll get
always doing it. He's out there being a Latinx champion.
F that guy.
Yeah.
And hail Yellow Flash for calling him out all the time. Hail Yellow Flash.
Yeah, I can't stand him. He's such a crybaby.
Exactly. It's ugh.
And that Latinx shit. I can't believe he pushes that.
Nope. Exactly. By the way, you did great videos and good job.
Yeah, I love calling that out because Latinos don't like it. They hate it.
Nope. We hate this shit. I'd rather be called. I can't even say the words on this show. Never mind. Andre will yell at me. All right, continue on, Tom. We have 40 super chats.
We do, and it's a good problem to have. Kanan has been here for 14 months. Thank you so much.
I got it. It was so he was urging the Emmy voters to pick non-white candidates, and he took out a full-page New York Times ad.
Johnny Legs did this?
Yeah.
What a dumb shit.
They're not
Oh,
as
my
expensive
God.
as they used to.
Oh, Lord. Michael Nemo sends in $5, says, what's wrong with me if I'm Latin liberal LGBT and I agree with you all about DEI BS? That means that you are just a normal human being. That you have common sense.
That's exactly what it means. You're a completely normal dude, and we are glad to have you here with us. That's what it means.
I put it in the private chat if you wanted to see it.
Bro, I gotta tell you, it's funny that
Okay.
we get that from Michael. I was just talking to a couple of my friends out in California, old friends I've had like since my Stanford days, both gay and both classically Democrat. They're like, dude, we are so this is what one of them said. He's like, we are so DEI'd out, we want to die. He's like, we are so DEI'd out, we want to die. I was just like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, Mike, you're not here anymore. They're like, it's suffocating.
Some of the gay people I know have really had it up to here with rainbows.
Both of them.
So,
Yeah. We're all in the same dorm rooms when we were back at Stanford. They've been long-time friends of mine.
Yeah. And then, okay, thank you. Vibranium he's made of. Curtis Shaw sends in his 2-month super member chat to let us know the Vision is made of vibranium. No wonder Wanda loves him. Oh, he vibrates. So in the comic, does that mean he was made of adamantium then? Because wasn't that the replacement?
actually, it was the other way around.
Or other way around?
Yeah, other way around. Vibranium was the adamantium replacement.
Gotcha. Well, that's what I thought I just said. Maybe I
Okay,
said
yeah.
it wrong. Maybe I said it wrong. Okay.
Vibranium?
Chaos Sonic. Yeah.
What about it?
I said, wasn't that the replacement they brought in for adamantium since they couldn't use adamantium in the MCU?
Is he made of vibranium?
That's
Did
I
they say
see
that
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
that
because I said he's made out of the
yeah.
same stuff. Well, maybe they did use. Oh, they did use the vibranium.
because I thought they didn't introduce that until
No, he had the
maybe
shield.
they did
So
because they
he
had
had
that guy, the villain from Black Panther in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
a
had
long
some of
time.
he
it.
was smuggling it.
Yeah, I
He
haven't
was
watched that in
smuggling
a
it.
long time. So yeah, I guess he would be, but
Andy Serkis, Claw, was smuggling it.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time. But yeah, he was, and he was. That's why they confronted him, and then Scarlet Witch got into their minds in that factory.
Yeah, and then Chaos Sonic 1 says there's also something important before you all leave. Sweet Baby Jerk is back and is now going after Smash TV, going after his old job. Now, Flash, I think did you do a video about this, I think?
Yeah, Chris Kindred is calling Smash JT's. I don't know if it's current or it sounded the way Smash JT worded it. They're calling an old employer, and
From 3
I
years
think,
ago,
yeah, probably what's going on is I would imagine maybe he had a LinkedIn up, and that's
No.
probably where they got the info. Maybe.
No, they got the info because the company actually, it's in his video. The company posted a photos of him and his family, and so that's the company that they're.
Oh, and then
reaching out to.
they saw the tags. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, they're deep diving on him, huh?
Because they searched his name and it probably popped up on Twitter because the company posted it on Twitter.
And they thought they got a gotcha there. It's just fucked up
Yeah.
in general. Leave people alone. You want to troll them online or whatever. I mean, there should be boundaries.
That's what these people do, though, right? I mean, they literally tried to cancel this the Steam curator list, and then they tried to steal all the games from Cabrutus Rambo's Steam because they wanted to get his Steam account shut down. And now they're trying to get him fired from a job he doesn't even work at anymore. I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to make you homeless. They want to make you jobless, and they want to make you destitute.
Well, that's what
they wanna do
canceled
that to all
means,
of us.
right?
Yeah.
See, and that's what some people who cry cancellation don't know what it means sometimes. And then other people are like, oh, we're not canceling them. We're just doing this. It's like, what the hell would you call it then? You're making it to where they can't make a living, can't feed their family, can't pay their bills, can't walk outside, can't do anything anymore without being harassed. What the hell would you call it? Like, yeah. But anyway, yeah, this is a crazy story. I haven't necessarily been keeping up with it. I heard bits and pieces of it, but I did see that you had put out a video, Flash. Yeah. And, sure you did a write up on it too.
Yeah, just
did
calling
another
out that
video.
Chris Kindred guy. He's a piece of shit.
He did another video. Someone else was doing it too, but I haven't watched that one yet. He said someone else was trying to call the employer as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet either. I will watch it. Maybe tomorrow. I was thinking about. Well, I offered him the link to come on for tomorrow's Flashcast. He said he might. I think he's going on Hypnotics, but Hypnotics stream ends a little bit after mine starts. So if he wants to come on and talk about it, he's more than welcome.
All right. And then we got Packing Protons here, who sends in a pair in a row. Says with $5 first, if Elon offered $15 billion for Star Wars, Disney would save face selling it for more than they bought it. Yes, but that's just it. And even then, I mean, Elon would probably have to justify the buying of it too, in a way, if he doesn't use his own personal money to do it. I mean, frankly, I mean, because Andre's right. Any company that were to buy that now for that kind of money, it would tank their stock.
And I don't know that Disney would sell it for $15 billion.
They would have to, almost, just for fiduciary.
I think they would have. I think that they would have to for 20. I don't know that they would have to for 15.
That's three times what they paid for it, though.
Yeah, it's 3 times what they paid for it. But remember all of the costs that they have had, which have been sunk into the hole. I mean, they wasted $1 billion on that stupid hotel or whatever the hell it was. Help me out with the name here. That goes into that thing. It doesn't matter.
Like Star Cruiser.
Yeah, Star Cruiser. It doesn't just matter how much they paid for it back in the day. How much money have they spent on the Star Wars license without getting it back again? And that includes the Star Cruiser hotel. It's $1 billion right there. And and for that $1 billion, you can add $3 billion to the price.
Well, on each movie and project and show,
else. You got a point.
Stuff. Because unfortunately, normally that would, if they were successful, they would make it worth more. But in this case, it's more like sunk costs. You're right.
Exactly. It increases the total offset there. So I think, they would have to sell for $20 billion. I think that at $15 billion, they can make an argument that no, we have to be offered more than that. Otherwise, we can't justify it.
I can see what you're saying there. Yeah. Anybody else? All right. Packing Proton sends in 2 and says they banned Chato and now D-Day Cobra, it seems. Yeah, I just saw that here a little bit ago. I don't know. Did he get actual ban, or is it just a temporary suspension or whatever?
I hope it's temporary, because
I was going to say, you don't have to super chat, just at me in the chat and let me know. I just wanted to know for sure. And I'll check it out after the show. But I'm sure he's got all the boys on that and helping him out if not. Thunderstorm sends in $4.99, says, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Looks like he's
not like here.
It looks like he's back.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was wondering.
He posted an hour ago. So
okay, so it was just a temporary, probably. Not only that, I mean, if not, Gary kind of knows enough people that probably knows enough people from back in the day that's why I'm surprised it's taken this long to get anything done for Paul. But yeah, he must have pissed off some queerdo in X. Anyway, Darth Jar Jar Rule, says Thunderstorm. Yeah, I mean, some people are into that. At least you finally got Darth Jar Jar, and what was it, the Lego Star Wars bit? Something like that. And we got Toga Free coming in with $4.99, says, if Disney is desperate, they will do Star Wars Marvel live action multiverse movie. You guys are great, by the way. Well, thank you. Oh boy, the hurdles that they would have to go through to get that. And I'm not talking about just like, because there's no real.
Have they done that with Lego yet?
They may have with Lego games and stuff, that I don't know, but I mean, just like the creatives is what I'm talking about, bumping heads. Because remember how much crap went down when Feige announced he was going to do a Star Wars movie, and how that made her made Kathleen Kennedy look and shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
she lied about that. She lied about the fact that he was even announced it, and it was like on the Star Wars website and everything.
Yeah, I love her revisionist history of shit. She's worse than George Lucas when it comes to revisionist history. At least with George, he's just trying to fudge a little fact here or there. No, she is like in La La Land with her shit. It's like, no, there was never a Dave Filoni or a Kevin Feige Star Wars project. That was just there's never anything. It was just rumors. It's like, motherfucker said it himself. Like, how much more direct can you get it? Yeah, it's on their website.
They did it in their like little YouTube video, like their Star Wars live show that they did or whatever. Too.
I mean, how much more direct to the horse's mouth can you get than Feige himself coming out and saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna do something Star Wars. I already got a writer working on it." Like,
yep.
That was the other part he said. Yeah. So yeah, it was never gonna be a thing, but they already had paid a writer. Professor Hatians has been a member 38 months. Thank you for that. It says never do drama and pulp culture videos anymore, but I wanted to do an Acolyte video since it's so bad. Well, you know, I mean, frankly, sometimes you just got to call this shit out for what it is, man. And I haven't watched the whole shows, but just from the bits and pieces I've seen from clips and from editing videos and whatnot, this shit seems unwatchable. Like it's like looks like it was put together by amateurs. Like it looks worse than some fan films do. And it's like you look at it and go, where did the money go? So I know what people are saying. Views with Hughes, how you doing? How you been? Sends in 5 and says, I think it means go woke, get woke, go broke. Hey, Mike, looking forward to you back on Cosmic Culture Live. I think that was for you, Mexican Iron Man, or did he step away?
He had to step away.
All right, well, we'll save that one for him. He'll see it. Godzillionaire sends in 2 and says, a weatherman is rarely right. Why make him a CEO? Exactly. My phone is a better weatherman. My phone can get shit down to the minute when the rain's going to stop. We don't need no weatherman no more. Miho and sends in 50 Swedish krona, right?
That is correct.
Just seen Inside Out 2, and we forgot to ask Pro about that because he actually saw Inside Out 2 yesterday. The thread and dripping message is all over it. It's not for boys. It's not for adult. It's for non-existing people.
Right. I mean, that's what I had in mind. That's what I thought.
And I was actually kind of surprised at how semi-decent of a review Pro gave it. But I'm real curious if your kids are going to drag you to it this weekend, Andre.
I don't think so.
Inside Out 2? Yeah, it's
no interest.
I'm not going to see it, no, but it's looking like it's going to do well.
That's what they say.
Did they release the Thursday previews? I saw that.
Oh no, I haven't. That's a good question, John.
They were. I don't remember what they were, but I think they were pretty big.
13 million is what the number says right now.
Good for a Thursday.
That's pretty good, but I don't know if are they gonna be able to hit the, what was it they were saying, 150 for the opening? Well, they got 17.9 for the box office now. Here it's listed.
So maybe 13 is, I don't know. It says 13 domestic, 15.7 international.
Maybe that's a mix, or this is an older number, could be. So it's only how much domestic? Because Bad Boys did what?
They're saying 13 million on the numbers for Thursday night.
Did you see Garfield was at 200?
Yeah, Garfield's kicking ass.
Crazy.
Well, this is where I called bullshit on the whole movies and theaters are dead thing. It's like, no, you just put stuff out there people want to see, and they'll go see it. Even If has legs right now, and that thing tanked coming out the gate. That's been hanging around.
Yeah, it must be getting good word of mouth.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything real bad about it. It's basically like Drop Dead Fred meets kind of I don't know. Somebody said
it looked fine. The trailer looked fine. It looked like something kids would enjoy.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that's why I'm wondering about how Inside Out 2 is going to play out.
My kids want to see Garfield.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if parents even trust Disney right now. That's the other thing.
Box Office Theory says that Disney expects 80 to 85 million domestically, but the outlet is predicting 94 to 117. And this is the Sean Robbins guy. He used to do Box Office Pro.
That might be a little high.
Pro data. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I
think Disney itself is saying 80 to 85, and those are usually conservative.
I could see that, but that's even a big. It depends on word of mouth, and
also depends on how front loaded it is. Like, did all the people that wanted to go see it Thursday, Friday? Are people going to go see it this weekend?
Yeah, because I noticed even like Bad Boys was playing really well during the week this week, because that is already up over 130 million or something around there. Maybe more than that now. I checked in the other day, but either way, I'm curious how this is going to play out this weekend. I forgot to ask Pro about it because he did see it. He did say it had some issues, but it didn't sound like it was bogged down in as much as some of the other stuff. But according to you, it does have a lot of messaging in it. So be aware, people. There's reviews
gonna be
out there.
shocked by that.
The only competition it looks like it has is Garfield.
Oh yeah, it'll probably do
For
okay then.
kids.
Yeah, Garfield's already 3 weeks old or whatever. So
Yeah.
for 4 weeks, I think this weekend it would be.
Something called The Watchers, but that looks like a horror movie.
Yeah, that's the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there isn't much opening.
Bomb.
Yeah, there isn't much opening now. Like Bad Boys has got some cleaner sailing, I think, now until I think the end of the month. There's something that comes out before Deadpool. I'm trying to remember what it is.
Deadpool's gonna be big.
Yeah, Deadpool's gonna kill everything once that comes out, though.
They're saying it's gonna do like 200-something million opening
Oh,
weekend.
I think it's gonna have the biggest R-rated opening of all time.
I do too. There's theater showings already sold out, and where I'm at. Which
Yeah, I
was
think I
shocked to
screwed up
see.
and I didn't get mine yet. But yeah. But yeah, Packing Proton sends in another 2 and says Elf has been a guest star on some shows recently. Yeah, I know Fusco's out there. Pushing
Yeah, and that's bullshit.
Why?
Because
Why?
bullshit.
Well, Abuse with Hughes is looking forward to you being back on Cosmic Culture Live. Mikey?
Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
Is that
I just
tonight?
thought
Oh,
I'd.
that's not tonight. I didn't confirm for tonight.
I hope you. I'm
Can't do
trying
tonight
to
if it's
remember.
tonight.
I swear somebody asked me to be on something today too, and I'm trying to remember what it was. But this is why I tell people to remind me because my calendar shit sucks. I don't know how to use it. Nicholas Horton has been a member for 36 months. It says, "Hail everyone! I would somehow back Mikey if he started an Elf remake GoFundMe." Ha 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 ha! I don't think Mikey would like that. And then this one was for Paul. I'm sorry I missed that. Hyperguyver says Paul should fight Alyssa Mercante. I don't think anybody will fight her.
It's Mercanti.
I know, but I didn't want to say it too bad. But because this is the more recent one was geez, no, I just forgot her name. Jesus Christ. Challenged her and then blocked her.
Very dark.
Very dark. Thank you.
There's a couple of other Lorena, Mara Jade
did.
She actually
posted pictures of her martial arts trophies too, which I thought was fun.
First place judo. And I guess she was also in the military.
I was gonna say what that was stupid. Yeah, Mara whop her ass. What the?
Yeah, she would. She'd wreck.
I'm
her
sure
ass.
Lorena would kick her ass too, but still.
The whole thing I found funny about that, it was like Alyssa was trying to intimidate people with her Mickey Mouse muscles. She was like, "You want a piece of me?" Her muscles remind me. You ever see remember those cartoons? Mickey Mouse would flex and he would like go, and like these little beans would pop up.
Yeah,
because she doesn't look very, very muscular. Not like she thinks she does.
Yeah. Packing Proton says with $5, Faloni will probably disappoint his witch worshipping wife with a pride announcement one day. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Let me get rid of some of these we've read already so I don't get too bogged down. Okay. And then we got Tennille here who says, sorry, I missed you guys live lately. Not been sleeping well. Sorry to hear that. Something, insert joke or 40K comment here. Whatever, here's the money. Well, thank you, Tennille. And sorry to hear your sleeping patterns haven't been the greatest.
I hope it picks up again, your sleeping pattern.
Yes, and Lizzo is definitely a Jedi-abetic. According to Jim V833 with 199 here, Lizzo's character is a descendant of the Jedi-abetic. Yes, he is.
The Fatawan.
I can't say it any other way now. Jedi-abetes is just...
his cholesterol count is much higher than his metachlorian count.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Fatawan.
Fatawan's cute, but Jedi-abetes is what the Fatawan has.
Exactly. That's exactly right. As does everyone that size. Yeah.
Unfortunately. Miguel Farah sends in 1,000 Chilean pesos and says, congrats, Mr. Sorry we missed these ones for Paul. He kind of just jumped out on us. Good thing he didn't jump out of the plane at least. Because he's always quick Daryl, for his age, he's quite quick. Daryl, that's why I think he could beat Alyssa's ass. But I don't think he'd hit a girl. I really don't. I think he's that old fashioned. But Daryl sends in 10 and says, one good thing came out of the Acolyte, a way to tell Disney Lucasfilm that we're done. Cut the thread. Ooh.
Exactly. This is something.
Most people wouldn't hit a girl, Tom, but the things that's different is now it's like I wouldn't hit a girl, but if she comes at me trying to pummel me and hits me, then it's fair game.
And all bets are off.
But
on this comment, though,
yeah.
I think we all should appreciate the Acolyte for just that. It provides such a golden opportunity to make a statement to Disney and to the world and to Disney shareholders and to all of Hollywood, a message that cannot be ignored. And you see this, and John, you will have noticed this in particular, because what I find when I've been doing our most recent videos is that there's so many fewer articles lambasting the fans. Oh, there's some. But whereas right now we have to look a little bit, we have to look for Inverse, we have to look for like the 3, 4, 5 others. But it used to be that there were 100 articles lambasting the fans saying the exact same thing. That's not the case anymore. And I think that is because they can't deny it. They can try to claim review bombing and say and preach for their own choir, but it's a shrinking choir and everyone else can kind of like see through it. When you have a couple of 100 critics that say, yeah, this is fantastic, in a declining positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes versus tens of thousands of audiences that all leave comments and they all explain why they hate it. I mean, increasingly, even the industry can't ignore that, even though they don't have to publicly address it. What say you?
I think it also has to do with the fact that Star Wars just isn't as popular anymore. So you're not really seeing as much from like the Hollywood Reporters, the Penske media outlets for the most part aren't really kind of engaging in that stuff anymore. I mean, I will say we did see it with the New York Times. They did a big piece where they had Hedlund and Kathleen Kennedy trying to rile up their occultists or their coven, for lack of a better term. And get those articles written and stuff like that. And then we did see it with the Inverse. There's been a couple others as well. I think Screen Rant, Valnet, and CBR seem to have kind of backed away from a lot of that stuff, probably because they realized that their audience was indeed shrinking. It also might have a lot to do with the fact that Google had made some significant changes this year to the algorithm when it comes to how articles are kind of fed through the Google app and things like that. And I know a lot of sites were struggling with that. So that might be something there as well. So I think there's like a lot of different factors. I think a lot of those the people that still work at those companies still believe a lot of that stuff. Obviously, we were just talking about Alyssa Mercanti and the people like Kotaku. You obviously have people like Nick Calandra, who runs the Second Wind YouTube channel. There's all the people at IGN. And I think a lot of them also have migrated to kind of the bigger where the bigger audience is at this point now, which is video games. And I think that's where a lot of the where you see a lot of that now, because you still have a lot of these people able to kind of trying to shape the video game industry, and that seems to be where the real battle is, because it seems like the battle over Star Wars is kind of over now. Like even what we're talking about now, it's just like we're laughing at this stuff and kind of celebrating their own demise rather than kind of saying like I don't know, just kind of like hoping that maybe there's some way to fix it. We're all kind of like there's no way to fix it.
Set in.
Yeah. The apathy is set in, and it's just like we're taking kind of a moment to be like, as far as just me personally, I take it in as like I celebrate this stuff because there's less people watching, there's less people being exposed to their propaganda, and I think that's always a good thing. So I celebrate these shows doing absolutely terrible, but I think the fact that you see the declining views, I think kind of also means we're declining people reading about Star Wars, wanting to know about Star Wars. And I don't know if you guys have seen that with your videos and stuff like that. Obviously, with the Acolyte happening now, it's probably doing really well. But it's also people that aren't watching the Acolyte, right? They're coming to see you kind of roast the Acolyte.
Exactly, that's what I see. That before there was an interest in Star Wars. Now the interest is exclusively in watching Star Wars burn.
Yes,
that's what I see. Whereas no one really cares about what happens with Star Wars. If we do something on the future of Star Wars, No one cares because they're over it. They just want to see it burn at this point.
Yeah, and that's kind of
With
what
a
I meant.
great deal of
So-
Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
McGarnagle for $5 says, if y'all want to have a laugh, Google the new pride skins for the Suicide Squad game. The Joker one should be one of your thumbnails when the game dies.
Oh, wow.
it's
Thanks
already
for the
dead.
tip. We have to check this out.
All right,
This is
Andre,
news
take
to me.
note. And we've got Rico Zorro has been a member for 30 months. Thank you for your patronage. Much appreciated. Our good buddy Tennille, 89, aka Dislikes Puns. If Iger, for $5 US, if Iger ever wanted to get rid of KK, Discovery might be a good opening for it.
If he ever wanted to, he could have done so a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has lost my any excuse now. He had so many reasons to. So he had so many openings, and he's taken advantage of zero of them, and he's guilty in what's happened because of it.
Yeah, and frankly, there's an entire division of people at the corporate office that love KK. So Bob Iger would have to alienate a third to half of his executive management team in order to fire KK, and that's never going to happen. Packing Pro.
I think Bob Iger's aligned with her. I mean, he's the one who talks about being involved in The Force Awakens, and that was part of his vision.
Yeah, he's guilty of it too.
Packing Protons for $2 says Calvin caught an orange tiger. How hard is Bigfoot? You know, for apparently for Culture Casino, too difficult.
Yeah.
Views with Hughes, agenda free news for $5 says if they were going for round if they were going forward, Carrano would announce it on X. Oh, if they were going forward, Carrano would announce it on X. Well, Carrano doesn't know yet. But thank you for the
it hasn't been made, the decision.
Thunderstorm 5 says Bigfoot for $5 says Bigfoot plays the saxophone on YouTube Sax Squatch. Get it?
Yeah, nice.
Boom bam, Andre.
I don't have that sound effect. That's fun. There we go.
Thanks, Flash. Tennille comes in for another $5, says, Mike, use the boat to facilitate. No, it's not a boat. It's going to be a yacht that I'm going to buy for Flash. A yacht to facilitate Andre's trip to the U.S. and maybe a Viking raid or two if there's time.
Yeah, we'll stop by England and do a raid there. That'll be fun.
That's my impersonation of Swedish Andre from a Mexican. Tennille, 89 again for $2 says the SS Iron Flash. Ooh, I like that.
That's a good for a boat right there. Yeah,
I like that.
You got to name it after a woman, though. A boat needs a girl's name.
What would we call her?
I don't know. I'd think about it.
Booty Flash. Moose for $2 says, well, Elon buy Disney. No. We'll find out tonight on Geeks and Gamers. I don't know. I think Elon's going to be on Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah, I think that Elon's going to wait for the stock price to fall a little bit lower first, and that's not going to be difficult.
Disney would cost at least $200 billion, maybe $220 billion to buy, and that money's so fucked up. Somebody have to be a moron to buy that company, like me. Sebastian Skarheim for Swedish. What is that?
No, that's Norwegian krona. You should know this.
Norwegian krona. Oh, I'm fired. I'm fired. I didn't even recognize it. For 59 Norwegian krona. Roses are red, violets are blue. Disney kills franchises. You know, it's true.
That was beautiful. Yeah. Even rhymed. Fantastic.
James Opp for $2 says he is not the only one. At Master Brodo did it too. And Mr. Brodo. Who's Mr. Brodo?
Not sure.
He is not the only one. I don't know. Big Daddy MRI for $20. Thank you, Big Daddy MRI. Sends a super sticker, which is a Tom help.
Oh, I'm not on the other side here. Hang on.
We're gonna go with it's a thumbnail. Everyone, please smash that like.
It is a You Are Amazing pair.
For which everyone should smash that like.
I have
Chaos Sonic for $5.
$5.
Chaos Sonic for $5 says Vibranium was made at the same year as Adamantium in the comics, 1966, all before the Marvel movies. Cap Shield was made as Proto Adamantium.
I know, but they didn't have the rights to Adamantium for the movies.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
They didn't have the right to use that, so they went with the other strong metal.
Because Fox had those rights, because Wolverine's skeleton was made of adamantium, and in order for it to be that, the MCU couldn't use it.
You'll see adamantium get introduced into the MCU soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Listen, Marion. for $5 says, will Disney reconcile themselves to this level of failure and change course, or do we have a Trump avatar to look forward to in Acolyte season 2?
They fucked up with the boys because them making Homelander Trump just makes him more likable.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to that, but apparently I've just been hearing a lot of love for Homelander as of late.
He's the only reason to watch that show, in my opinion. Like, he's the best part of it.
You know, I think
Showrunner admitted it. He said he's a Trump stand-in.
I think that that the actor may have served me beer in Norway. True story. The actor, he spent a good few years in the 90s in Norway, and he was working at Aker Brygge. He was selling beer there. I think I remember him. Not even joking.
Is he the one that said don't watch the show, or was it the showrunner?
That's the showrunner.
Showrunner.
People were saying the actor said that, and I don't.
No, showrunner.
I don't think he gives a shit. He's just getting his check.
Tom, can you take over? I got to run downstairs.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
Well, we got you covered here. Yeah, but anyway, to answer that particular question that we jumped to there is, I think that Disney, they will not reconcile themselves with this level of failure. But as we have covered earlier, they do not have the people to fix it. They're relying on the same people that broke Disney to fix Disney again, and that's just not going to happen. They'll try, and they won't be able to. Case in point, Kevin Feige. You think Marvel is going to get any better while he's still there? He's the one who broke it. And for the perfect case in point of that, Vision.
Yeah. Packing Proton. Oh, yeah, because they got, what's his face from Metalis.
Terry Metalis. Yeah, we covered this earlier.
Yep. Packing Proton says, surprised they didn't announce a Paul Feig Star Wars movie.
What is Terry Metalis? What is he directing in Marvel?
He's doing a Vision show because Kevin Feige is intent on continuing the legacy of failure from WandaVision.
If he's doing the show, though, it might be good.
The show might be good, but what's it going to do? It's just going to continue the legacy of failure. It's not going to be any more successful than the Wanda movie, just for that very reason. It's built on a storyline that most people have let go of and don't want to revisit. So, of course, it's going to be good in its own right, but wouldn't you rather have him somewhere else that's not going to be a creative dead end? That's not going to be a continuation of
you could make that same argument for Picard.
Yeah, you can make that same argument for Picard.
That season, you can consume that without watching the
I
other
agree.
two.
Picard 3 was really good. I'm a Picard Season 3 defender, but you know what Picard Season 3 was? It was also a flop. It was less of a flop than Picard Season 1 and Picard Season 2. But ultimately, it was still a flop, and it leads to nothing. It's just a creative dead end, and the last breath of good Star Trek that we're ever going to get. And my worry is that this is more of the same. This is continuing in a dead end that cannot continue, rather than put someone of his talent into something brand new that has a future, instead of trying to fix something that is just homework for the audience.
What do you even do with a Vision? So, because like
in my book, you don't revisit that storyline.
I agree, because not only are you revisiting WandaVision, which is where she's literally enslaving people, you're revisiting Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which
all of that became homework.
And you're revisiting the Marvels, because that's where they introduce whatever her name is, who the original Captain Marvel in the comics from the 70s. I can't remember.
I always forget her name. But anyway, yeah, that's what I mean. All you do
Monica Rambeau.
Is
Monica
the legacy of failure, and you make it homework for one thing that probably it's going to be good, but it has no future beyond that. So you're just carrying on all your past mistakes, instead of doing something, having Terry Metalis and have him do something brand new, have him be your new James Gunn and start a new direction. That's what they needed to do.
Give him X-Men.
For instance, that would have been much, much better. That would have been awesome. But instead, They're just continuing the legacy of failure, and he can't fix it.
Yeah, you get a clean slate with X-Men in a way. I mean,
that's what I mean. That's what they should have done.
To put him.
Except they're not though. They're literally not giving themselves a clean slate because they're doing the whole TVA crap from Loki. It doesn't.
Oh well, that's if they do end up bringing Fox X-Men in, which I don't. I guess we'll find out from Secret Wars.
I think we'll get a hint sooner than that in Deadpool, but yeah, we'll see with that. Moving on, Andrew Fairbanks says for $4.99, I have a funny feeling episode 3 was supposed to be the first. No, that's just the mystery box storytelling. How in the first episode you had the mystery box. The twins have never seen each other, and one of them killed the entire family. What actually happened? Well, here they gave us that mystery. And then they opened 3 new mystery boxes. Case, who killed all the Jedi? So no, it was always meant to be this way because this is the J.J. Abrams school of mystery box filmmaking. That's what we're seeing here. So yeah, no, this was as planned. It was just a shit plan.
She says that too. She says that in an interview with Entertainment Weekly that came out earlier this week that she always had the intention. Leslie Headland said this, that she always wanted it to be in the middle of the season. I actually agree. It should have been I think this should have been the first episode. Because if you, I don't know, Flash, did you watch the new Gundam show?
New Gundam show? No, the lesbian one.
Yeah.
No, I skipped it. It's supposed to be like Harry Potter Gundam or some shit. I'm not interested in that.
It's pretty awful. But the first like episode is actually really good, and it is a kind of it does kind of do what this episode did, and it's like what happens like 15 years ago, and then it jumps into like real-time story, and that it sets up well, but after that it just goes off the rails. But I think it should have been the first one. But you're right, Andre, it just is going to devolve into mystery box storytelling because that's what they do. It's not going to be like what was that sci-fi show that actually did really good, and then before it went off the rails when it jumped over to Amazon.
Yeah, the one that I forgot the name of it.
What was that, Flash?
The Expanse?
The Expanse, yeah, where that actually had a really good murder mystery for the entire first season, which was fantastic. And you got a resolution for it, too. It wasn't really the mystery box.
Yeah, basically, it was made properly. Yeah. Lord knows you can't have that. Moving on. Packing Proton says for $5. 2 months ago, I joked it was a money laundering scheme. Now more people are picking up that theory regarding budgets. Yeah, I don't know. There's money laundering so much as it's just a good old-fashioned
shakedown.
Well, no, as I keep pointing out, and we learned that it's the cost of doing business, right? The producers end up pocketing like half of the money right off the bat.
Right. That's what. Yeah. Shakedown for the producers.
Yeah. It's like it's like okay, if the budget's 200 million, 100 of that goes right into the producer's pocket.
Various administrative costs, and there's a lot of things that need administering right here for sure. I mean, this.
And it's also a. Oh, sorry.
No, carry on.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's also a DEI shakedown because what does the Walt Disney Company require in their Reimagine Tomorrow? They require that their contractors, people that are doing catering and all these other kind of services, are DEI businesses. We saw this with the Florida lawsuit that Mexican Iron Man was talking about earlier with what was the Reedy Creek and all that stuff. That's all mandated by the Walt Disney Company. So those people are getting a cut too. So that's where a lot of this stuff is going.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of poles to be greased all around here, and that stuff is expensive. And Neil89 says for $5, qualitatively, the Acolyte probably belongs on best of the worst with the other gems. Yeah, this is an astute observation right there. And Michael Bomer says for $5 Australian, just wanted to show my thanks for all the coverage, guys. Oh, and Michael, thanks for the comment on the previous video and for pointing out our error in the white,
which is me. I'm kicking myself in the ass because I just didn't pay much attention because I do have that image and I just different computer. So
we tried to make lemonade out of the lemons there, and just as the WDW Pro warned, we are getting some pushback over it. Although Michael, it's your fault really. So
He
But
didn't
moving
get
on.
out of the cock-a-doodie car.
And Captain Palsy says for $2, I'll fight her, referring to Mercante. Yeah,
You get
He's
her.
not going to fight anyone.
She
He
should
ran
be
away
careful with what she's
immediately.
asking for.
Yeah,
I'm
she would,
surprised like
actually.
not people haven't like gone more into like her cam girl past and stuff like that. But yeah.
She has to actually give a shit, I suppose. Accident Seller sends in 15 Norwegian krona and says 15-year-old me lesbians in Star Wars. Fuck yeah, let's go. Me in 2024. No, not like that. Not like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Careful what you wish for.
Yep. Chaos Sonic 1 says Alyssa
Cindy
Mercanti.
Sweeney lesbians.
Yeah. Those don't really exist, unfortunately. Only in college.
They're out there. They're more bi though. They're called
exactly.
lesbians.
Exactly. Alyssa Mercanti, whatever, is basically internet tough guy, talks big, but when confronted is a coward and try to change the date. Yeah.
It's funny how that works. And Leslie Marianne says for $4.99, thanks to the Acolyte, this is the Pride Month when everyone says, I've had enough. You know, I think it was probably Dylan Mulvaney that did that. But I could be wrong. I think it's last year's Pride Month, and Acolyte just came out at the worst possible timing, the time when everyone definitely had enough. And Master Clockwork says for $5, I identify as invisible. I was born visible, but now I'm transparent. My pronouns are who, where? Yeah, there you go. That's another way of doing it. Aged Boomer says for $5, do witches belong in Star Wars? Well, as long as Star Wars is overseen by Dave Filoni, the answer to that is hell yes. I don't know that
Nobody
there were
had a problem
any
with
witches
the
in
Night
Star
Sisters.
Wars. Yeah, okay,
Night Sisters were fine.
But
also
are they a
depicted as
Filoni
evil.
invention, or did they exist under George? That's kind of like what I mean. Didn't Filoni create those?
No, his daughter did a lot of the work on it. I think they were originally created in a 1994 novel, and then his daughter, Lucas's daughter, Katie Lucas, did a bunch of the work for the Clone Wars on it. But
So
they
it's
were
her fault.
originally back in 1994. Well, I'm not against the Night Sisters and witches in general either, as long as they're depicted as evil, dark side users, which they always were.
No.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, fine. Then I guess that there is.
The Night Sisters aren't like
Well,
they're not people I would want to hang out with. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't know if you've discussed this with anybody yet or done anything with it yet, but like, excuse me, John, but I guess the issue that some people are taking with some of the witch stuff that's in here is that this isn't just your generic witch stuff.
Right.
This is actual Wiccan shit they put in here, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
It does. I mean, so I'm not familiar with any of that stuff. I don't look into it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it either.
I know very little too, but
just
just from what I've been hearing. Yeah,
I did a little research for a story I'm writing. Yeah, like there's some of that shit. But that shit's in all over Hollywood in general.
Yeah.
Not just Star Wars.
I don't know that it's Wiccan. I mean, that's a lot. That's kind of
a lot
I
of
don't
dark
want to get
magic
into it, because
shit, like
within the realm of the occult, you have so many different directions and so many denominations. I don't want to single anyone out, and they are mutually exclusive and all stuff like that. So
a lot of that magic shit's in the occult.
Fair, but
I'm not talking about pop-up magic either. I'm talking about magic like with the G.
I know, but even within that, there are different denominations. Which is why
there's a whole bunch. Like
people
started their own stuff, like Crawley.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if this episode actually had the Jedi like massacring these witches because they're doing dark, unnatural things?
That's just wait for that to happen. I mean, I didn't see any burn marks on those dead witches there. I mean, that's something that's I guarantee you it's going to come in a later episode.
Oh, then that means the Jedi are the true heroes. Can't let them be doing their evil, dark stuff.
Well,
gotta put an end to that.
View of the witches. Only for us viewers. But moving on here, Gereisur says for $5, 4DX is so underrated. I'm anxious it has such cultural plus economic recovery. 4DX cinema, you mean? Is that like is that what he's referring to? 4DX? Is that the cinema type?
Yeah, Mikey here, he's been to one of those. I think
he
does
not
away.
seem too impressed.
I'm a black belt in 4DX. I would go to every movie in 4DX if I could.
Okay. Oh, cool. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Yeah. Well, I hope that more people discover it then. And to Neil 89 says, for another $5, I'd like to append Andre's previous statement. It was a flop. It leads to nothing, and hopefully it will fall into a black hole and return to nothing. Yeah, many flops do that. Unfortunately, sometimes they take a larger franchise with them, which sucks, but that's what it is. And Michael Bomer, who corrected our mistake in the previous video, says, all good, least I could do after years of quality entertainment. Oh, thank you. We do appreciate that. We do love our audience, and we still have 1,500 watching us right here on the YouTube side, which we are grateful for. I don't know how many are watching on the Rumble guys side right now, but shout out to you guys as well. Got one more super chat from James OP, who sent us $10 saying, the witches used the line, what the thread has tied together, no one can separate. It is an altered Bible verse, Mark 10:9. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one not separate. Yeah, I'm somehow not surprised. I think that you'll find a lot of stuff like that if you really take a deep dive into the episode. I'm sure it's going to be chock full of that kind of stuff. So I look forward to someone who is more steeped into both the Bible and the occult than myself to do a deep dive into that. That's a video that I would be watching with interest. But on that note, we are fully caught up. So thanks to everyone who's watching. Tom, can you do a check and see if that nothing has been missed on the Rumble side? Meanwhile, I want to say thanks to Mexican Iron Man, who was here, has kept us on time as much as possible here.
I want to thank our special guest that appeared earlier in the show from the Acolyte. It was great to have a cast member here at the beginning of the show.
Indeed, it was. It was
One of the
absolutely
witches.
fantastic. Yeah.
No, we're all caught up on the Rumble side. So thank you, everybody over there, for watching. Thank you for everybody who's watching on X. Thank you for everybody who's watching here on the YouTube side. And yeah, Yellow Flash, you got Flashcast tomorrow night. Anything else you want to plug?
No, that's it. Really, follow me.
Yeah.
Follow me at all my spots.
And the WDW Pro, he was also here earlier. Follow him, his channel. Also follow that Park Place. Check out his new radio channel. Link to that will be in the description. Of course, check out that Park Place where John F. Trent keeps on knocking it out of the park with the best articles. Anything you want to plug in particular, John?
Yeah, so I have my YouTube channel, the Trent Report. You can subscribe there. I try and do like 3 to 4 videos a day for the most part. And then if you don't want to talk about pop culture and entertainment, I know that's what we usually do here, but I also do, I have a stock car channel, just my name, John F. Trent, and I cover all kinds of stock car racing in the United States.
Fantastic. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. Be sure to check out our most recent video. Please smash the like on it. We are being pressed hard. The videos do amazing to begin with, and then they're choked out by the algorithm in like 12 hours.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Disney made a call. Not just because of us, but for everybody across the board, I'm sure got.
Could very well be, but either way, you can combat that by liking and sharing the videos. Be on the lookout for more videos over the weekend. I really do not mean to have a go at Grace Randolph. I, as a general thing, do like her, but she did this to herself. That's all I'm going to say. And with that, it is time.
Would you admit that?
What do you like about her movie math shows?
You know what? Actually, I think that she has some very good takes sometimes. All the times when she doesn't have a script from Disney marketing to read, and she just gives her own takes and industry analysis, when she has no allegiance to anyone being covered, she actually has some very good based takes every once in a blue moon. Which is why I also credited her when that happens. Like, for instance, in the aftermath of the failure of the Marvels, she actually covered that in a way which I was impressed by. She was basically saying all the stuff that we have been saying for years, even admitting that they are really failing with this at Marvel. They do all of these female characters, but it's too much now, and none of them are connecting. And she was the first to admit that. So sometimes when she doesn't have a script, like her financial analysis is sound. I mean, if you just watch some of her shows, like now I suddenly became the shill for Grace Randolph, but she sometimes has some very good takes. People forget that in light of her bad ones, and her bad ones are really bad. And that's when we do videos.
Well, Broken Clocks write twice a day.
I know.
I wrote a song for a reason, and I get more use out of that song than any other of the songs. So,
but yes, she deserves some credit for those 2 times a day.
But I'm reminded about that audio bit we're supposed to play here from earlier in the show. Here, I'm trying to find it real quick in the thing. Where'd it go?
Meanwhile, Miguel Farah says, lesbian koala witches can't have reins. Or maybe they can force.
Okay, so this is from earlier in the show, and evidently there's supposed to be some ghost voice in the background saying fired. So let's, whoa, we lost Yellow Flash.
Yeah, no, he had to go. We can say
okay. Okay, no problem.
It's so much cooler with the songs inspired
the movie, right? This is kind of going to go with what we had today, because remember when Superman Returns came out? They brought out a Superman album that just had a bunch of songs about Superman that aren't even in Superman Returns, but they made it look like a Superman Returns soundtrack.
It's so much cooler with the songs inspired by, where you have some guy at the label like, was there supposed to be something there?
I guess I don't hear it. Yeah. So I'm not sure.
Sounds like the demons are at his house.
Yeah. Maybe it was something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
4 seconds. I'll listen to it again.
Yeah. Well, it could also be like I sometimes have loads of noise in my background right here. So
I still don't hear it.
Or some kids are crying or something. So yeah, if there's a witch, could be the.
Oh, that's me laughing, is what I think it is. It's me when I started chuckling.
That's quite.
That's what I think it is.
And with that, it is time for some koalas in the rain.
It's a combination of Dirty Dozen, Seven Samurai, and Star Wars in space.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koalas in the rain.